really interested me. And then I see people climb Mount Everest or jump off buildings or do base jumping, or the guy who jumped from space. People think, what's he doing? He's crazy. I understand. Because some people can't live normal lives. Some people cannot just function 9 to 5 office job, get drunk at the weekends. That is not for some individuals, and it's not for me. So I have to find something which keeps me physically tired enough to stop me going AWOL, and mentally tired enough. And I've chosen fighting, because without this, when I'm not in training, I wake up every day and think, okay, what am I going to do today? It's 9 a.m. on Tuesday, I'm bored, everyone's at work, I'm bored, and I'll end up doing something crazy. I'll end up drunk, or on the Eurostar, or, you know, it's just a random lifestyle, because I'm constantly looking for never-ending entertainment, and it doesn't exist. I think the only thing that could stop me fighting is if I had enough money to constantly entertain myself. Unless I'm a billionaire, I need something that keeps me focused and keeps me occupied in life. With fighting, I have to train twice a day, and I have to train hard, and the stress it brings in every aspect can replace fun, and my mind is occupied. It occupies me. It's the only way I can try and explain it. It occupies me, and I could never stop doing this even if I lost 100 fights, because I'm not built to live a normal existence. I can't do it. I couldn't just have a kid with some girl and sit at home and work a little bit and relax. I've never relaxed in my entire life. I don't know what relaxing is. It's just not me.
Yes. Back on For Honor.
I was a 4-time kickboxing world champion. For 12 years, I trained 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. And I was motivated to train.
Yeah, we're back on For Honor, baby.
The rest of the time, I went because I am disciplined. You don't feel like going do that shit on a Wednesday morning when you wake up, and you have to do it because you're disciplined. You're either a disciplined individual or you are not a disciplined.
Make sure y'all hit that like
There's a
button.
difference between want and want. And I say this all the time. People say to me, I want to be rich. And I say, okay, well, I want to be able to ice skate. But I don't want to be able to ice skate enough to go learn how to ice skate because I can't be bothered. I mean, surely if I could click my fingers and be a figure skater, I'd click my fingers. Who wouldn't? But I don't want to actually go train. Because I don't want it.
To come join.
And this is exactly
well, good luck, bro.
Everyone wants money.
They're gonna just straight up gank me.
You wouldn't be able to sleep until you fucking had it. And
this is motivating me to play.
I couldn't be distracted. You couldn't distract me from what I wanted. That's who I am. If I want something, I'm gonna get it. I do not need to be motivated. I'm a disciplined person. If I allocate X amount of time to work, I'm gonna do it. But that is the bottom line answer. It's discipline. You're going to have to work when you don't feel like working. That's how it's going to have to be, or you're never going to be eating. One of the only things in this world you can control is your state of mind. You can't control the weather. You can't control other people. You can't even control your health. You might get a brain hemorrhage. You might get hit by a bus. One of the very few things in the world you have genuine control over is your state of mind. You decide if you're a disciplined person. You decide if you're a happy person. You decide if you're a depressed person. These are things that in real time you can affect in your brain. This is all you can control on Earth. If you can't control that, then you're just a feather in the wind. And life's going to blow you around, and you might land somewhere good, you might land dog shit, nobody knows. The state of mind is what you're going to control. If you can't wake up and say, today I'm making some money, and actually try your very, very best, and actually stay dedicated to that task, if you can't do that, you're fucked.
Every man understands you shouldn't be complaining about things you cannot change. You have to play the cards you're dealt. To be born a certain height and then to sit there and go, what do I do? Well, I'll tell you what you do. You become the best version of yourself, just like everyone else does. Nothing about the height is in and of itself enough value for me to be a valuable man. As a man, you build your value. You are born with the cards you're dealt. Sure, it'd be ideal. I'd love to be 7 foot tall. I'm not. So it's the same argument. If you're 5'2", you need to become rich, strong, and funny, and charismatic, and interesting, and witty. If you're 6'4", you need to become rich, strong, well-connected. It's the same game. So to sit there and complain about it is asinine. All of you have a handful of basics. I don't think you understand that. You could have been in a car crash at 4 years old and lost your legs. Do you have any understanding of how lucky you have been? This is pure luck. There's no reason. There's only luck has kept you fully able-bodied, sitting
Not on
there,
PlayStation
capable
5,
of learning and listening and becoming something. You don't really need to be that tall if you're important and rich. And when you walk in the room, you think when fucking Mayweather walks in the room, you don't give a shit. Fix that frame in your mind. You are viewing yourself as a short man. Stop it. Walk the fuck up and be the man.
You talk a lot about purpose, why we are created as humans and why we're here. What is the purpose of life? Why were we given life?
I think we're here to struggle and to learn. I don't think we're here to be happy. That's why when we keep going back to the happy argument, I've always found it kind of frustrating and annoying. When someone goes, oh, but I want to be happy. Why? Why? Why do you want to sit there and laugh? Like you were happy your entire childhood. That's your happy days. You're allowed to be happy as a kid. It's all over now, right? You're a man. You have responsibilities. I think we're here to do important things, and important things are going to be difficult, and they're going to be hard, and you're going to get frustrated. But that's what gives you purpose. I think we're here to struggle. I think we're here to endure pain.
Yeah.
I think we're here to just see how hard we are to kill. I think that going through terrible things and living through them and coming out.
I can't really say anything. The man was built for ganking.
I think that it's almost like once you understand what life is really about, there's no emotion which isn't enjoyable. The only emotional state which can be seen as detrimental is feeling nothing at all. But if you're sitting at home and you're feeling truly heartbroken, at least you're feeling something, right? And I think that's the whole part of being human. I think we're here to struggle. I think we're here to go through pain. I wake up each day and go, what can I attack? What problem can I solve? And look at history. Why did Genghis Khan wake up and want to conquer the whole world? Why did Napoleon conquer the world? Why did Alexander the Great conquer the world? Just wake up and just say, give me this, give me that. I want all of it. There's an army there, they're really big. We're better. It's intrinsic. You need to go and conquer. That's the purpose of life.
Do you believe that God created us? Why did God create us to struggle?
Because if you don't struggle, you don't learn. God created us to learn and understand ourselves and understand other people and understand the world. And what did I say earlier? I said that you don't learn a lesson without pain.
Okay, cool.
You have to struggle to learn anything. There's only two ways to learn things, the hard way or the harder way. If you're smart, you can learn the hard way. But in my experience, 99% of the planet only learn the hardest possible way. If you want to feel happy inside yourself, and you want to feel content, and you want to feel stable inside yourself, you need to live true to God.
Make sure you hit that like,
A little bit of alcohol, or not party, not a little bit of fun. You have to be a good person. I don't believe in the societal paradigms in which they have tried to construct this idea of happiness. I don't believe or subscribe to the way that happy and sad is currently understood by the masses of the population. I think if you are anything less than absolutely distraught, you are happy, you're a version of happy. It's like saying gray is a version of black, right? No matter how light the gray is, you can still call it a version of black. And unless you're going through an event, which hopefully doesn't happen too often, like the passing of a family member or something that's truly destructive and detrimental to your mindset, besides these events, which hopefully only happen a few times in your life, you should be happy. If you're not crying or paralyzed in silence due to the absolute magnitude of a detrimental circumstance or the absolute magnitude of a negative event, then you are a version of happy. So I am always happy, is the short answer. I don't believe in not being happy. I don't believe in not saying to myself I'm happy. I'm always a version of happy. And this idea of chasing happiness and always being concerned and preoccupied with how happy you are is actually the biggest mistake that a lot of people make, I think, in the world today. Especially men who wake up and go, oh, I don't really feel happy, so I need to get happier. And that's how they end up down a hedonistic path of drugs or alcohol, gambling, chasing pleasure. I don't care how I feel. I don't care if I feel happy or sad. It doesn't really affect what I do each day. I do the exact same things. I act the exact same way. I don't care. I don't put weight to the significance of the emotion. So I always consider myself a happy person, but if I woke up and I was slightly less happy one day than another, it wouldn't affect anything I do and I wouldn't put any relevance to it. I'm human and that's life. So yeah, am I any happier now that I have hundreds of millions of dollars than before I was broke? Not really, but I was never unhappy. I'm the same state that I was then, I am now. I have work to do and I will do it. As simple as that. Well, also there's no light without dark. And there's no joy without pain. You can't have a rainbow without a little rain. No matter how hard you chase pleasure and happiness, there's going to be dips and troughs in between. There's going to be come downs and downtrends. And you're going to have the juxtaposition between that time you were laughing your head off and acting giddish like a child and the time that you feel depressed as such. And I think it's much better to just adopt a very disciplined, stoic mindset. I'm always the same base level of happy regardless. If I lost all of my money today, I would be the same happy. If my net worth quadrupled, I'd be the same happiness. But as long as I'm alive and the people I care about and love are alive, and as long as I take As long as God gives me the honor of doing my duties and providing for the people I care about, as long as I get to wake up and know that there's a whole bunch of people in the world who need me and I get to work hard to please them and be good for society and good for the world, then I'm a vessel of God and I'm happy enough to survive. That's all I look at it as. I don't ever consider how do I feel. That doesn't cross my mind. I have things to do. I'm too busy. I have things to do every single day. I have very important things to do, and how I feel really is not going to affect how I complete those tasks. Motivation isn't real. Everyone says this. Motivation's not real. Discipline's real. I do not feel like training, but I still train because I'm a disciplined individual. You don't get to go through life only doing the things you feel like doing. So this is down to you. And listen, you may feel fired up for 10 minutes after this little talk. You're not going to feel fired up forever. You need to put systems in place. You need to get discipline. You need to get an atmosphere of people around you who are going to keep you accountable and not make it easy for you to continue to be a f***ing nobody. And then you're going to fix your life. Otherwise, you're going to stay nobody.
You're tired. You don't want to work. You want to go to sleep and just relax. Do it. Anyway.
That is the most basic imperative of the masculine frame, which has been destroyed in real time. They are trying to convince you that you should act how you feel. You should show more of your feelings. If you feel this way, you should show it. If you want to cry, cry. What I'm saying is the reason they're trying to bring out emotionality in you is because of exactly what Mylon said. Most of the time, you don't feel like doing the things you're supposed to do. But the true masculine frame
Thanks.
was doing the things they didn't want to do, but they knew they had to do because they had honor and duty. That's what honor and duty means. Do you think the men on the Titanic wanted to stay on the fucking Titanic? No! We're men. We have to stay. We're scared, but we must. It's our duty to let the women and children on the lifeboats. This is masculine duty. A good man controls himself. I have absolute self-control. Emotional control is absolutely and utterly important as a man. I'm saying that you need to understand as a man, there are certain principles under which you act, regardless of how you feel. I can wake up in a terrible mood. I can wake up sad. I can ache. I can have a busy day, stress, etc. I will complete the same tasks as if I woke up in a fantastic mood. I'll do the same things because how I feel has no bearing on the things I'm going to do in my day because I have duty to myself and to my bloodline. Because you think there's something wrong with you. Well, I lack motivation. I don't have the motivation to go to the gym. Well, here's the newsflash. Neither did I. And I still did it. So now what are you going to say? Now you have no excuse.
Oh, you
You're
serious?
scared to get in the ring. So was I. Still did it. Scared to get in the cage. So was I still did it. Being a man is about not feeling things. It's about acting the way you're supposed to act, regardless of how you feel. We act. We're men of action. We get things done. So the world gonna do it. All of it. All the men who built skyscrapers felt scared to get angry. You need to become a man of action. Stop worrying about how you feel. Start worrying about what you're supposed to be doing. How about that?
I've always been disciplined myself, because I've always lived a disciplined life. I lived in a disciplined household, like there was no such thing as I don't want to. So even now, if I wake up and I don't want to do something, I don't need someone to tell me to do it, because I'll do it anyway. I mean, who wants to run a marathon? Nobody. Who wants to do that? You just do it, don't you? Because, you know, it's a thing you're going to have to do, and you have to blood, sweat, tears.
There is a version of the world where you can feel things and really not give a how you feel. Like, if I feel sad, it does not change how I act, and it does not change the things I do. If I don't feel like going to the gym, I go to the gym. If I don't feel like working, I will still work. If I wake up in a happy mood, and I have a business to run, if I wake up in a sad mood, I have the same shit to do. I'm gonna get it done. So, where's the importance of it? It's in my mind, that's how I view it. Like, how does that affect what I'm gonna do? Well, nothing. It doesn't.
Motivation in and of itself is a scam. I don't believe in motivation. I believe in discipline. I am not motivated to do the things I'm supposed to do. I don't wake up full of like joy. I have to go to the gym, or that I have to work, or I'm doing crap. I don't feel motivated to do them. I'm disciplined. I do them regardless of how I feel. Whether I'm in the mood to do it or I'm not in the mood to do it, it gets done. That's discipline. Discipline's a real thing. Motivation is fleeting. You're never going to be permanently motivated. If you're the kind of person who can only try hard at something he enjoys, then you're going to fail.
If you truly want to win, you can't only want to win when you're happy. You can't only want to win when you're motivated. You're competing against men like me who perform even when it's raining, not only when the sun's shining. If you're going to be the kind of person who can only do it in one of those scenarios, you are going to lose. You must be prepared to perform all of the time.
I have a lot of people who message me and say, oh, I struggle with motivation. My answer is simple. Then stay with
Oh no!
If you can't find motivation to not be a loser, then I strongly recommend you just stay a loser, stay in your lane, and stay out of my lane.
No!
I have no time for people who cannot find the motivation to fix themselves and fix their own lives. I've been the kind of person who will perform 7 days a week. Doesn't matter how I feel, doesn't matter what's happened, doesn't matter if I'm happy or sad, things must be done. This is the mindset you need to adopt if you want to be a winner.
I think a man should have absolutely no interest in whether he's actually happy or not. If I wake up and I'm unhappy, I will do the exact same things as if I am. I will go to the gym the same. I will work the same. How I feel has no impact on how I live my life. I don't think happiness as an index is a healthy view for a man to have on life success. If you're waking up and going, oh, am I happy, am I not, you're looking at life wrong. I think of a man, if you put happiness far, if you move it down the scale, right, and you start looking at, am I successful, am I competent, you know, am I achieving things, am I respected? If you start to look at these indicators of your life, you're going to end up being happier without actually analyzing if you're happy or not.
And how does this work? Some way to bite the bullet and just work. Working harder is never going to not help. No matter what scenario you're in, working harder is never going to not help. And it's amazing that I get different versions of the same answer from 99% of the questions I'm asked. Work harder. You have a problem, whether you're broke, whether you're out of shape, whether your friend died, whether your girl leaves you, whether you're depressed, whatever it is, working harder is almost always the answer. So you know what you need to do. You need to do it. And what's amazing, again, it's kind of like the antidote. If you take the antidote before the poison, then you never get sick in the first place. If you're always working as hard as possible, you're always working your ass off becoming the best version of yourself every single day, then you never get sick in the first place. You're already working, you're already taking the antidote. So things can't attach to you, they can't get hold of you. Working hard is the antidote to everything. So why don't you do it in advance? Why don't your life just become work like mine? Why don't you just dedicate yourself to a cause and get up and do what you're supposed to do every single day? I can't stand quitters. So if you're the kind of person who's going to quit because it's hard, I don't want your energy around me, right? You need the people who don't quit. I don't quit. Every single facet of my life is testament to the fact that I don't quit. I didn't quit. So that's the difference. When it was hard, I did it anyway. That's who I've always been. And if you don't have that kind of tenacity, you're never going to be anything. So I'm indefeatable. Do not give up. Do not get tired. Do not quit. That's what they want. That's what the enemy wants. They want to try and win a war of attrition. They want to wear me down and hope I quit and give up. I am not that guy. I'm not that guy. I'm the guy who keeps going. And if you're truly indefeatable in life, and perspicacious, that's my favorite saying, the one I say all the time, unmatched perspicacity coupled with sheer indefatigability makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. It's absolutely inherently true. If you pay attention to the things that are happening around you, and you do not quit, you will be a dangerous opponent in any realm of human endeavor. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. I'm a man who lives true to God and says what he means and means what he says. I know the things I say are good for society and good for the world. I didn't put a freaking match of spell in me. The reason people listen to me is because they like what I say and they know I'm telling the truth. That's the reason I'm here. And I'm going to continue to do that.
Only get to lose my feet. Oh, what?
I want everybody here who's watching this, I consider this a matter of social responsibility. I want you to pull up a chair and eliminate all the distractions because I'm going to speak to each and every one of you as if you were my son or a student or someone I'm trying to mentor. I'm going to imagine that all of you know nothing and we're talking from the complete ground up how to become the best versions of yourself. Because manhood is exceptionally hard and life is hard. But how you shape yourself will determine how hard it is for you and how miserable it will be. I've said this many times in many different iterations on different podcasts, but I want to repeat it again. As a man, there is no easy life. If you're looking for an easy life, you should have been a girl. You made a mistake.
Yep.
Your life is not about being easy.
No, I don't remember your name. Is it this Lulu by front?
All of the pain you feel, all of the sadness you feel, you're supposed to feel as a man, and you have two effective binary choices. You either go through the suffering and go through the trauma and go through the hardship it takes to be a man of value, or you suffer eternity as a nobody. And being invisible, I would argue, is almost worse. You can have a very stress-free life if you work in Starbucks, you don't care about the Starbucks once you clock off, you're not at work at the time, you go home, you play video games, and you exist until you die. That's stress-free, but you have to suffer being a nobody. Alternatively,
make sure y'all hit that like button.
World, try and implement your mark on the world, work hard, try to get rich, more money, more problems.
You can try to start a business, the stress of that. You can lose your girlfriend because all you're doing is working. I want everybody here who's watching this, I consider this a matter of social responsibility. I want you to pull up a chair and eliminate all the distractions, because I'm going to speak to each and every one of you as if you were my son or a student or someone I'm trying to mentor. I'm going to imagine that all of you know nothing, and we're talking from the complete ground up how to become the best versions of yourself. Because manhood is exceptionally hard, and life is hard. But how you shape yourself will determine how hard it is for you and how miserable it will be. I've said this many times in many different iterations on different podcasts, but I want to repeat it again. As a man, there is no easy life. If you're looking for an easy life, you should have been a girl.
He's completely right.
Your life is not about being easy. Your life is not about being happy. Your life is always going to be difficult. All of the pain you feel, all of the sadness you feel, you're supposed to feel as a man, and you have two.
Just remember, what he's saying is completely true for men. You could be working at Starbucks. You could be working at McDonald's. You will never pull a bitch. So, that's sad. Yeah, you'll never pull a chick that will, if you was making money. Because they all have standards now.
I want everybody here who's watching this, I consider this a matter of social responsibility. I want you to pull up a chair and eliminate all the distractions, because I'm going to speak to each and every one of you as if you were my son or a student or someone I'm trying to mentor. I'm going to imagine that all of you know nothing, and we're talking from the complete ground up how to become the best versions of yourself. Because manhood is exceptionally hard, and life is hard. But how you shape yourself will determine how hard it is for you and how miserable it will be. I've said this many times in many different iterations on different podcasts, but I want to repeat it again. As a man, there is no easy life. If you're looking for an easy life, you should have been a girl. You made a mistake.
Yep.
Your life is not about being easy. Your life is not about being happy. Your life is always going to be difficult. All of the pain you feel, all of the sadness you feel, you're supposed to feel as a man, and you have two effective binary choices. You either go through the suffering and go through the trauma and go through the hardship it takes to be a man of value, or you suffer eternity as a nobody. And being invisible, I would argue, is almost worse. You can have a very stress-free life if you work in Starbucks. You don't care about the Starbucks once you clock off. You're not at work at the time. You go home, you play video games, and you exist until you die. That's stress-free, but you have to suffer being a nobody. Alternatively, you can go out there into the world, try and implement your mark on the world, work hard, try to get rich, more money, more problems. You can try to start a business, the stress of that. You can lose your girlfriend because all you're doing is working. This is a new level of stress, a new level of trauma, but at least you'll be a somebody at the end of it. There's two ways to suffer. You either suffer to become a somebody, or you suffer as a perpetual and forever nobody. What did Napoleon say?
He said, "Glory is fleeting, but obscurity is forever."
Absolutely. Glory is fleeting, but obscurity is forever. And when he says fleeting, that's a really good point, because everything in life is rented, especially your glory as a man. When you have a good body, it is not a good body as complete. It's not finished. You haven't completed the task. You have rented that good physical condition. You must train every day to retain it. So everything is rented. Your body, you don't just get a good body and you're done. You still have to go to the gym every day to maintain that good body. You don't just get a hot girl and it's done. You still have to work hard for her to always love you and respect you. You don't just start a business and now you're rich. No, you have to start a business and work on that business every day. You take your eye off the business, it will fail. Everything in life is rented. So he says glory is fleeting. He's also absolutely not correct, because glory is fleeting. You have to constantly and endlessly work for it and make sure that you never stop. Otherwise, it will be taken from you. But obscurity is forever. If you never make a mark on the world, then you effectively never existed. And when you're gone, nobody will care. The reason our Father is discussed at length is because of who me and Tristan are, and the reason we will be discussed forever is because of who our sons will become. And that's very important, because you have a duty to your ancestors and you have a duty to God. So you must make a choice. And this is a genuine choice to you people at home. Do you want to live in obscurity forever and be invisible and not matter and have an easier life? I would argue that it's not easier, because in your heart and in your soul you're going to feel guilty knowing you could have been something you're not, and you have a duty to your ancestors and to God to be the best version of yourself. Or do you want to try your absolute best and struggle and suffer every day of your life, paying the rent for all of the amazing things around you? We pay endless rent. We pay rent for our bodies, we pay rent for our relationships, we pay rent to keep our kids, we pay rent to keep our business, we pay rent to keep our freedom. Every single day is work to pay the rent. It's absolutely never ending. You have to make that choice. So if you have a pen and paper in front of you, you need to decide. Do you want to be invisible with a lower rent bill? Or do you want to be important and work hard and suffer to make sure that the rent is paid? It's a choice you must make, and it's binary, and you must be extremely dedicated towards the decision you finally make. So as you're just finding yourselves as men, I understand I have a huge responsibility because of the massive platform I have. There's no doubt about it, I am the largest influencer in this space. I'm perhaps one of, if not the largest influencer on the planet today. And I have a massive responsibility to try my best to improve the world and teach people important things. And it's very difficult, as most of you men are just finding yourselves, trying to figure out what and who you should be in a culture with little to no proper guidance. If you remove me from the internet, you have a whole bunch of loudmouths who have not achieved anything amazing or remarkable in their real lives.
You don't act in a respectful way.
Who don't act in a respectful way, who have not had any real world achievements. There's a few people like me who aren't like that, but we're generalizing. And then you have a largely matriarchal society and a matriarchal education system that you're beholden to. So who's teaching you to be a man? If you're fortunate enough to have a fantastic father, great. But if you don't, there are very little lessons, and there's basically no guidance out there explaining to you the self-accountability which is required to be a man. Everything we were
Hopefully I'm teaching
earlier
you guys how to
about
be a
making
man.
the choice of being invisible or being highly important and paying the rent for one of those two choices. That's based around absolute and utter brutal self-accountability. You must accept the decision you want to make. You must accept that everything is your fault. Everything is on your shoulders, regardless of what God throws at you. Give you an example. Me and you were in jail. Did we still have bills to pay? Did we still have mouths to feed? Did we still have a business to run? We're locked in a Romanian jail cell with no access to the outside world, and we still had responsibilities, and we were still absolutely and utterly accountable for those. We didn't sit and say, well, I'm in jail, so they don't matter.
Let them take care of it.
No, they do matter. We're men, and they must be handled. And we found a way to handle it regardless. Even though we believe we shouldn't have been in jail, even though it was unfair, even though it was a matrix attack, we still took absolute and utter self-accountability for the situation and all of our problems. We never skipped a beat. We never missed a single payment. We never let anyone starve. We handled absolutely everything from a jail cell. You have to sit here and understand. Most of you are in absolute freedom, not meeting your responsibilities. How are you going to meet your responsibilities if you become important enough to be locked in a jail? How are you going to meet your responsibilities when you're heartbroken? How are you going to meet your responsibilities if you lose all your money?
And we're not talking just about our immediate family in a selfish way. I'm talking about my employees. I have over 300 plus employees, security guards who rely on their salary that they get from our company to feed their families, and that's their job. It's not their fault I belong to jail. I'm the man who hired them. I have a responsibility to make sure everyone's salaries are paid, make sure everyone's family is fine. There's a massive triangle, a massive pyramid built underneath men like us, of people who need to eat, and people who do us a service, and people who need their money in exchange. I couldn't just say, I'm in jail. They'll understand. What would I expect these people to do? This is their job, they work for me, and it's my responsibility to make sure everyone's getting their paycheck, even if I'm locked away. Which is scary, because how would you accomplish the same thing? Imagine you have 3 months, you have 45 minutes on the phone 3 times a week. That's all you get for 3 months. Would you be able to make sure that everybody you care about, and everybody who depends on you, and all the people who depend on you from a business perspective, all the people who work with you, work for you, are fed, provided for, getting their salary, getting their paycheck? Could you do that? If not, keep working. Absolutely, because we pulled it off. Just about.
Just about, my friend. We got it done. And we're preparing ourselves for anything else that might happen in the future to make sure we can always get it done. You're supposed to be the guard of the power field. You must train, you must train, you must protect, you must protecting. You must be a good man. When you're actually a truly good man and a high value man, this is something I absolutely realized in jail. What did I say to you? I think we were in jail about 2 months. It was one of the harder days. And during Ramadan, I lost 30% of my food to cockroaches.
The hard days.
The hard days. And unfortunately, I had 1 meal a day, but the meal came during the sunshine, so I had to try and protect my food from infestation until the sun went down. And I remember losing most of the food for the day, and I was particularly upset because I trained so hard, my muscles were aching, and I couldn't get any food. I'm only eating once a day. Once a day. And I said to you, I said, Tristan, I have no problem suffering if the people I love are not suffering. My children are taken care of. The women I love are taken care of. My mother is taken care of. Anybody around me is fine. Even if they remove me from my life and lock me in a jail cell, everybody I love is taken care of, and is protected, and is living good. I must suffer because I am a man. I am the head of my empire. I'm the head of the clan. Of course, I will suffer, but the people I love are not suffering. This is what God has bestowed upon men since the beginning of time. When you're a man, absolutely you're right. It is our job to suffer. Some people around us do not suffer. And that's why you're a man and waking up in the morning and not trying to do your best to be important or upgrade yourself or upgrade your character, or lacking motivation, you have a serious problem, because it is your job to be capable of dealing with the insurmountable pressure which God is going to put upon you, so that when you suffer, everyone around you does well. Our lives are set up that even if they throw us in a dungeon today, everybody we love will be okay. Forever. And that is what's most important. That's the most important thing.
That's success.
And that was absolutely comforting. That was absolutely comforting in jail when we discussed that. And we said, everyone we love is okay. You and I just have to make it through this. And that's absolutely and utterly comforting. When you're a man sitting at home right now, you need to sit and say, okay, if they plucked me from my life, if they picked me up, threw me in a room, and locked me in a jail cell,
Which can happen.
which can happen to anybody, especially as they continue these matrix attacks on masculinity as a whole. Would your wife have a roof over her head? Would your children eat? Would your family be okay? Think about these things. This is what you're working for. You're not working to make money so you can buy a Lamborghini. You're working to make money. You're thinking outside the box. You're becoming your best version of yourself. So all the people around you will always be okay no matter what happens.
Bro, of course you do like it.
And we did our job fantastically, absolutely nothing else we should. And we always will. And everybody around us was okay. And that is extremely comforting in times of hardship, because we're built for suffering. We were absolutely and utterly built for suffering. No matter how close I came to crying inside of that jail cell, I knew all the people around me were safe and all the people around me could eat. And that's all I cared about. I used my phone calls. When I would call other people and they were asking me how I was, I said, we don't want to talk about me. How are you? Are you okay? Are you okay with media pressure? Are you okay? Are your bills paid? Do you have money? Or can you eat? I'm in a jail cell in Romania, making sure that everyone I love is okay. I don't need their support. I don't need them to sit and worry about me. I worry about them. I sat in a jail cell making sure I could fix the problems for the people I love outside in the free world from a dungeon. That is what a man does, and you must prepare and set your life for that. You must be prepared to be plucked from life. And understand that anybody around you who once relied on you will still be relying on you, even when you sit in that jail cell. It's still up to you. You are still a man of the household. You are still the top G of your life. Only you. And if you don't pay the bills, who can do it? Your wife's just gonna what? Go get a job, get like 5 jobs, and raise your kids? How should you do that? You must be prepared for these things. That is what you're working for. So if you wake up every day as a man, and you say, I don't have motivation to become strong. I don't want to work hard and get rich. I don't want to try and become financially free. What you're saying is that the second you disappear, the second you disappear from a matrix control job, everyone who loves you and respects you and relied on you is going to starve. How can you live that way as a man? Absolutely not really unacceptable.
Standing in the rain.
And that actually goes into another point that I want to mention about these other influencers, these other people out here who have influence, the ones that control and taught by and purported by the Matrix and pushed out there for everybody to listen to. What do any of them even teach? How does your life get better from listening to any of these people? What do they teach you? What do they tell you? What do they instill inside of you? When's the last time you listened to them and felt a fire in your soul or fire in your blood to become a better man? When's the last time you listened to them, I need to give more money to charity? I need to help people. I need to set my life up so that people I love will always be okay. I need to retire my mother and make money so she doesn't have to work anymore. When's the last time any influencer on anywhere on the internet, any of them, any of these people streaming this garbage on Twitch and Kick and all these shit websites, when's the last time any of them have ever helped anybody?
I think that's what the average man really needs to struggle. And I've been saying this has been my message for a very long time in all realms. I've said for a very long time that life for the average man is going to get harder and harder. It's becoming more and more competitive. You need to find more and more ways to stand out and be unique. And the only way to really do those things, unfortunately, as a man, is to suffer. And that's one of the reasons I'm kind of glad that God put me in jail, because if you look at anything that builds a man into a man with a degree of suffering, it's very hard to become a man and have a man who's respected, has stories, and is capable when he only had a nice life and nice experiences. It's usually the things that made you the best version of you are usually the worst things that happened to you. So the demons I carry from jail, the fact I can't sleep. The fact I can't sleep, I had a girl say to me, you can't sleep when you see psychologists. And I say, absolutely not. I would be furious if a psychiatrist walked in here and took my demons. I would
Are you fucking kidding me, bro?
And they were bestowed to me by God.
that's
And
long.
they're mine to deal with, and they're mine to fix, because that's how I become a better version of me. I would be furious if someone took them away from me. I'm glad I can't sleep. Good, I can train endlessly. That's why I'm bigger than I've ever been. I'll train I'm not going to waste a minute. But all the demons that have been given to me by God, and all the problems that have been given to me by God are mine to fix. I would never, ever allow anybody else to take them from me. I'd be furious. If a psychologist came in and said, I can cure you, I'd say, no, thank you, I will cure myself. I don't care if it takes 10 years. I'll cure myself. That's my job. And I know that when that's done, I will be more mentally resilient than I ever would have been without you. That's the whole point of it, right? So many men say, I want to be the man, but they don't want to suffer, they don't want to fight, and I don't understand why, because even if you look at a superhero movie, they tell you, even in superhero movies, they make it very clear, Batman's parents died, that's why he's Batman. All the bad things have to happen. There's no way to get there without the bad things. I get so many emails from people complaining about their bad things, and I don't have time to reply to any of them, but if I could, I'd say, good luck, congratulations, off you go. Of course you broke your heart. Of course you're sad. Of course you miss her. She's with me now. That's right. That's part of it. That's the only way you're going to get to that level of resilience. You can't become the man any other way. So yeah, I thank God for everything bad that's ever happened to me and all the demons. And I trust that He's not going to give me anything I cannot, in the end, decipher and deal with. In the end, I think it's a puzzle. And you decipher it, and you work out the best way to deal with it, and you internalize the good parts, and you become a better and stronger and more resilient person for it. So I thank God for every single one of them. If being average is not acceptable at all, it's not acceptable anymore, and it's not acceptable in the sexual marketplace, but it's also just not acceptable.
Hopefully I motivate you guys.
You have to diversify now so much to even protect yourself. The idea that you can just be a law-abiding citizen in a country and just work your job and be okay is gone. It's gone. If COVID doesn't prove that, I don't know what will. Yeah. Look at my situation. You have to diversify. You have to be smart enough that you have assets and friends and capability and lawyers and whatever all over the world now. That's the only way to protect yourself. You can't just sit within one jurisdiction and go, oh, well, but I don't speak, so it's going to be okay. I don't think it is. I think it's coming to a point where it's not going to be okay. My mother always says to me, I'm glad I'm not young. And I'm starting to say that now. I'm glad I'm not young. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be scary, right? Because the world's hyper-competitive. Every single thing in the world is competition. I don't think people realize I'm a hyper-competitive person because I understand that every single thing I want, somebody else wants. The girl I want, other people want. The car I want, other people want. The house I want, other people want. The lifestyle, the jet, every single thing you want, somebody else wants. It's a massive competition. As a man, you have two choices. You either accept that it's a massive competition and try and play the game, or you just try and pretend it's not a competition and live in perpetual failure. And it's going to become hyper-competitive, the world already is. You're not going to be able to compete with a person with a computer brain. So you're going to have to have it, because you can't compete. And once you have it, then who knows? Can they turn it off? I don't know. Can they turn you off? I don't know. Can they inject the slave mind programming directly through the chip? I don't know. That's scary. I would never want to do that, but it's going to get to a point where you're not even a person without it. You can't function without it. You're a second-class citizen without it.
Do you deserve to be happy? Genuinely, every single person watching this, go look in the mirror after this stream, go into the bathroom, look in the mirror. Do you deserve to be happy? Look yourself in the eye. The answer is probably fucking not. You don't deserve it. Yeah. When you're hungry, it's your body telling you need to eat some food. That's fine. You react to that. When you're depressed, your body's telling you you need to change your life. And if you're feeling that for long periods of time and then not changing your life, well, you don't deserve to be happy. You don't deserve it. Everything in life that is valuable must be earned. Peace of mind must be earned. Happiness must be earned. I'm happy because I earned it. I get to talk to you. Of course I'm fucking happy. I'm me. When I look at the lives of people who tell me they're depressed, I look at them and think, you know what? If I was you, I'd be fucking depressed. If I was you, I'd be depressed. So of course you're depressed because your life is shit. But whose fault is that? That you have to take some personal responsibility for it. And what they'll do is they'll try and outsource it. Well, I had a bad start, or this happened to me, that happened to me. We're like fair. Suck up, buttercup. Shit happens to everybody. I could sit here and be an unsuccessful piece of shit, and I got 10 stories to tell you why I have excuses to do exactly that. And here I am, top G. So that's life. That's life. You have to get shit done. So yeah, if you live a depressive life, you're gonna feel depressed. If you lived my life, you wouldn't feel depressed. So now you know what to fucking do. Now you're either gonna sit up, get up and do it, or you're gonna sit there and stay depressed. And that's why these people are so desperate to defend the idea that depression can't be solved. When you tell the world that depression can't be solved, what you're doing is absolving yourself from all responsibility. I no longer have to stand up and work hard and try and be something because it doesn't matter how hard I work because I'll be depressed anyway. They know that's a lie. They're just trying to think that they're being ignorant on purpose to avoid doing the hard work. That's all it really is. I understood that physicality is important. It's the bottom line. It's the final decider. It's actually kind of interesting that a lot of these tech guys, the tech people, they pretend physicality doesn't matter and they make all this money and they own Facebook and Amazon and whatever. But eventually they end up doing MMA like Zuckerberg or taking testosterone replacement like Jeff Bezos. It gets to a point where you finally must accept the reality that your physicality, your mentality as a man are limited.
Let's
You
do this.
cannot be happy and strong in your mind if you are weak.
We're gonna win this one.
You need to have a strong body to have a strong mind as a man. There's no way to escape it. And that's one of the reasons why I preach so much about
Make sure
training,
you go hit that like button if
fight,
you do.
get in the gym, get bigger, get stronger.
Don't
You
regret
fix
it.
your mind if you fix your body.
Don't say
You should
I'm
be as strong
regretting.
as you possibly
I
can.
get to play next year. I'm gonna fuck them up. That's what
You
you
have
should
something
be
to
saying.
prove. I think everybody on the planet has something to prove. If you walk through life and feel like you have nothing to prove, you're a fucking loser. If you wake up each day and go, I don't owe anybody anything, I don't have to prove anything to anybody.
That's what you
are a
should be
loser. You are absolutely not being correct. You must prove yourself to everyone. You must prove yourself to your
Don't
bloodline.
regret
You must
thinking
prove
you
yourself
did.
to God. God hates the
Well,
lazy.
not
You
you.
can't stand him. If he gives you all these genetic dispositions and these natural God-given gifts, you have 2 arms and 2 legs and you can fit, and you're not trying your absolute best. That's the reason you're not lucky. He doesn't like you. He likes the people which show him the beauty of his own creation. He likes to give somebody building blocks and then to build something amazing. So that's
Remember
why
that.
being a man.
You're
You
not.
You are.
You
God
don't
loves to
regret
see that.
picking any character.
Those people,
You get
for
the
some
fuck
reason,
that
seem to be
character.
enormously
You
lucky.
get the
Right?
fuck them up.
The person who goes, I don't have to prove anything
Even
to
how
God.
much
I don't
honor
owe all of my
to put that
ancestors
shit
any
on
effort.
you.
You know, for 5,000 years,
This
people were
character
dodging
sucks. This
saber-toothed
character
tigers,
sucks. Yes, they
catching the
might suck,
plague,
but it only
and running
sucks
from
if
Genghis
you don't
Khan,
use
just for my stupid ass to be born. I don't owe them anything, but I owe them a thing. So I want
You know what I mean?
These people are fucking losers. You should walk through Earth with force inside. If I walk, as I walk through Earth, everybody, not because they know it, but as I move, even if it's behind their head,
Have you done?
people feel something.
Don't say
There's
that.
an energy that comes from brutal competence. That's what happens when a predator walks in the room. You pay attention next time in a restaurant. If a man who's truly dangerous walks in, nearly every other man who kind of looks up and don't feel it. You need to, or you don't survive. We've evolved with that for later. That's who I am. I couldn't imagine not being this. I've done that because I've been trying to prove myself to my lineage my entire life. I wake up every day with something to learn. I have hundreds of moves and dollars. I'm in fantastic shape, 4 times world champion. Fighting the Matrix out here by myself. More. I will have to be braver. I must try harder. All I do is prove myself. So when I hear people go, I don't have nothing to do, then you're a fucking loser.
It's the things, it's the denial that's going to hold you back the most. The people who go, yes, I'm wasting my potential. Those are the ones who have potential. The ones who stand up and go, I am wasting my potential, I could be anything, and I am not that yet. They have a chance. The men who go, oh no, actually, I'm fine. They're fucked. They're inside the matrix, fully slave-minded. They're a waste of time. When you sit there and go, you know what? Yeah, I am wasting my potential. Yes, I can be more than I am. Even if I'm already great, I can be that.
Gay press.
As good as I am, I still push myself to the limit every single fucking day. I have every single thing a man could possibly want and still pushing myself. This is your prerogative as a man. So you need to be instilled with a sense of duty to your bloodline. You must want it. You need to want it deep inside your soul. I can't die as anything less than emperor. It's my destiny. Well, these people seem to sit and say, I'm really unhappy with X, but then stay doing X. So I don't believe they're truly actually unhappy. What you'll notice if you're long enough. I'm unhappy being a loser. You say, why are you a loser? I just sit at home and play video games sometimes. And you're like, okay. And maybe 3 days of the week they're unhappy doing that. But 4 days of the week, it doesn't really bother them. It doesn't really bother them. Because if it bothered them 7 days a week, guess what?
They will fix it.
So I have very little sympathy for people, and that's not because I'm not a nice person. I've been so hard on myself, and I've been through so many things that were difficult. I've been through so much pain and trauma myself. Some of it self-inflicted, some of it given to me by God to make me a better person. but I've been so difficult on myself. It's very hard for me to look at somebody who's refused to be difficult on themselves and see them as my equal. Why would I put pity on somebody who took the hardest possible way? I took the hardest possible way to be the man I am, and you were too difficult. And now you want me to feel sorry for you? I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for these people, because as a man, you can be anything you decide you want to be. That's the beauty of being male. You can build your character from the ground up, just like a video game. Every single thing about me that people respect, I feel. I was not born. This week. I was not born this strong. I was not born this confident. I was not born this interesting. I was not born this charismatic and humble and gorgeous and tall and strong and sexy. I was not born none of these things. I became these things myself.
Hey, Andrew, how do I get like a signal so that's that way?
Suffering is what gives it value. Everyone had a six-pack and it's quick and easy. Value. If everyone walked around with a quick six-pack and they got easy, no one would give a shit. The whole point is that it's difficult to live. Value is weak. It's difficult. If you want something that's valuable, you need something that's difficult to live. The fact that you just said you wanted quick and easy shows that you're holding up your bottle is fun. You shouldn't be thinking about quick and easy. You should be about hard, suffering, pain, going through it. But you should be thinking about it's going to be hard, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because when it's done, then I know that I went through something difficult. Why do you want it to be quick and easy?
What a believe lead. Oh.
Lessons and trauma, and the more you go through, the better of a man you are. If you're to find the best men on the planet, I guarantee they've been through a bunch of terrible things. And you can use that trauma to become a better person, or you can let that trauma continue to destroy you. But I thank God for all of it, because it gave me endless power to get this night. You're truly, you're happy. You can't sleep. You lost sleep. You get twice as many hours. There's advantages. There's advantages to being I am glad that. Thank God for all this. So truthfully, I think I'm lucky. The reason I talk about this is not to tell people I've had a hard life. It's to make it clear to people who are trained about their own lives that bad things that happen are what you become the man. I can't talk about women, but I'm not. I actually think trauma is terrible for women to be masculinized. You want feminine, pure, protected women. I don't want a woman to ever go through anything bad in her life. I think a man should go through it for her, protect her. You lost. That's how she's her best self as a woman. So I think to be your best self as a man is the absolute opposite. Someone emails me and says, "This has happened to me." I'm like, good. No, what do you mean good? It's terrible. How else are you going to become important? How else are you going to find endless fire to get up and struggle in the face of the competition that's out here? How else are you ever, you're going to do all that with a nice Christian life? If any man's honest with himself, think about the biggest transformative stages in your life. Think about the times you got most work done. It was a bad part of your life. You were heartbroken, you know, lost a house, or broke, or whatever. That's when you did shit. When everything was fine. When the woman's still sucking dick, the mortgage is paid, dinner's on time, it's kind of doopty-doopty-doo, little by little, do a little bit of work, a little bit of running. But the big events come to come. This is it. So it's a cheat code. Cheat code to climb the mountain.
I think we're here to struggle and to learn. I don't think we're here to be happy. I think we're here to do important things. Important things should be different. They're not. You're gonna get frustrated. But that's what gives you purpose. That's why when I've been happy, I've always found that kind of frustrating in the day. Someone goes, "Oh, but I want to be happy." Why? Why do you want to sit there and laugh? Like you were happy your entire childhood. That's your happy days. You're allowed to be happy. It's all over now, right? You're a man. Anyone who's chasing happiness, I think it's a very feminine frame. I understand why some women just want to be happy. I don't know how it feels to be a girl, so in my experience, I know women who just want to be happy.
Yeah.
Girls just want to have fun. Yeah. Fine. But you're a man, right? And if you're a man, then it's absolutely not a different experience. I think we're here to struggle. I think we're here to endure pain. I think we're here to just see how hard we are to kill. going through terrible things, getting out the other side, it's almost like once you understand what life is really about, the only emotional state that you're feeling is detrimental to nothing at all. If you're sitting at home feeling truly heartbroken, you're feeling something, right? I think this is what God wants from us all. It doesn't matter what the adversary is. It doesn't matter how much you're hurt by it. You need to allow it to motivate you to push harder and show your power, show your resilience. And even before I became Islamic, I very much understood that when bad things happen to me, this is a lesson from the universe or from God, from the Creator, to stand up and show who I am and who I can be, and to take all of the pain and anguish and disappointment and heartbreak and all of this and turn it into a force I can use for good and to make myself a better person. And I think if you don't approach life this way, that you're always going to struggle. Because life is hard for everybody. It's going to be hard. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do. You need to be resilient to it. I ask people have these beliefs. Doesn't matter what their belief is. Doesn't matter, they believe in something. I say, where did you get that belief from? And they don't know. Where did you get that belief? Who told you that? And does that person have your best interests at heart? Think about it. Think about all the things you truly believe. Think where you learn it. And think if that person actually gives a fuck about you. Because the only things you're learning from is personal experience from people who genuinely care about you and love you. Most people are out here believing things and repeating things that were told to them by people who don't even fucking like them. By their enemies. Everyone's mind is fundamentally fucked. All of it. Look at me. I'm a guy who decided to conquer social media. I blink, clear my brain, I use basic indefatigability.
Welcome to the stream, everybody. If you're
use
ready for some
impetuousness,
motivation,
I use my mind,
give me a thumbs
and I
up.
focus, and I fucking conquer the world in a few short months. It's not difficult, there's just no competition. Because everybody's fucking distracted. They're getting distracted by this, distracted by that, watching fucking Netflix, jerking off to Pornhub like fucking jackasses. It's so easy to win if you can control your own mind. But it seems nobody fucking can.
It's if you can control your own mind.
I can't imagine truly wanting to quit something and not being able to quit. I can't imagine. Like, when I talk to people who say, I want to quit smoking, I say, when? They go, oh, well, soon. But that means you don't want to quit. You want to keep smoking for a while and quit later. Like, I could quit cigars today. Like, it wouldn't even plague my mind. Like, if I wanted to quit, I'd quit. I can't imagine a mind frame or a mindset where I want to do something and can't do it. Right? Life is hierarchical. There's always going to be kings and there's always going to be peasants. If you have a mind that you can't control, then you're never going to be a king. You're going to be a peasant. That's your life. You have a peasant's life ahead of you, and that's your destiny. Enjoy. Right? There's always been peasants. That's life. But I believe that the most important thing you can do as a man is to gain control of your mind. Once you have control of your mind, life is so ridiculously easy. It's so ridiculously easy. It's so easy to be in. People say to me, Tate, you're in good shape. All you do is drink vodka and travel the world. You're never even home. You never even have a gym. How do you do it? It's ridiculously easy if you control your mind. If I decide to do 1,000 push-ups, I'll do them. Maybe I have to do them one at a time. Maybe I'll get tired. Maybe I need a break. I'm going to do 1,000 because I said I'm going to do 1,000. It's not fucking hard. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do. Once you control your mind, it's easy, right?
Hey,
You
look,
know,
I
break
got
up that
you.
bitch.
Sam, help.
You miss that girl, you're upset, you miss her with all your heart, da-da-da. But once you realize she's gone, if you control your mind, she's gone now. She's gone now, I'm gonna miss her. That's a shame. Off to the gym. You either control your mind or you don't. If you cannot control your own mind, then you are just a feather in the wind of life. Because your own mind is the only thing you can control. You can't control the weather. You can't control other people. You can't even control whether your heart stops beating. You might have a heart attack tomorrow. You can't control anything besides what you think. If you cannot control your own mind, then you go through life with zero control, zero influence. You can't control anything. You're just a feather in the wind, waiting for life to blow you from happy place to sad place to happy place to sad place. Completely hoping on the gods to be fortunate to you, because if any genuine discomfort comes your way, you're fucked. It is trained like everything else in life. You need to live like God is always watching. You may have the opportunity to do something bad, or you may have the opportunity to steal some money or snake somebody, but in the end, you're going to pay for that, and the bill will be paid. I think if you do the right thing, in my experience, if you're a person who does the right thing, firm handshake, is on time, doesn't lie to anybody, does what he's supposed to do, is honest with a good heart, is genuinely polite to everyone he meets. If you are that person, you get very far in life. I've yet to meet people who just do all the simple things right, who completely fail at life. But I've met a lot of people who snake or steal some money and they get really rich and they lose it all, or they get rich and end up a gambling addict or depressed or etc. So you have to just understand that God is always watching. He's going to reward you in the end. That's the first thing. And the second thing I will say is that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and you need to create your reality. I think the biggest problem with young people today is that they don't create their realities heavily enough. The people that they want to spend most time with aren't adding any value to their lives, and then they end up wondering why they don't get you. When I tell people that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, everyone agrees. They go, yeah, that's probably true. The 5 people you spend the most time with, that's what you're going to end up like. They say, yeah, that's true. And then they continue to hang around with people who they don't want to be. Why? There has to be a point. There has to be a point where you sit and go, okay, you're my friends, etc., etc. I love you guys. Yeah, we can talk, whatever. But I'm on a different life path. You have to leave some people behind. If you were to come hang out with me and you were in a room with me and my 5 friends, you'd feel self-conscious.
You're right.
You don't feel self with your friends. If you were to come hang out with me and my crew, you would be self-conscious, and that self-consciousness would motivate you, or they would certainly instill the discipline required for you to change. You don't feel self-conscious amongst your peers. That's why you don't change. If you were to get in a room and you're the only person who ain't a fucking monster, you'd want to become a monster.
Do you have something to prove? I think everybody on the planet has something to prove. If you walk through life and feel like you have nothing to prove, then you're a fucking loser. If you wake up each day and go, I don't owe anybody anything, I don't have to prove anything to anybody, then you are a loser, because you are absolutely not incorrect. You must prove yourself to other people. You must prove yourself to your bloodline. You must prove yourself to God. God hates the lazy. He can't stand them. If he gives you all these genetic dispositions and these natural God-given gifts, if you have 2 arms and 2 legs and you can think, and you're not trying your absolute best, that's the reason you're not lucky. He doesn't like you. He likes the people who show him the beauty of his own creation. He likes to give somebody building blocks and then to build something amazing. It's the best thing about being a man. You build who you are. God loves to see that. Those people, for some reason, seem to be enormously lucky, right? The person who goes, I don't have to prove anything to God. I don't owe all of my ancestors any effort. You know, for 5,000 years, people were dodging saber-toothed tigers and catching the plague and running from Genghis Khan just for my stupid ass to be born. I don't owe them anything. I don't owe them a thing, because I want to play video games. These people are fucking losers. You should walk through Earth with force inside. If I walk, as I walk into this hotel reception, everybody, not because they know who I am, but because as I move, even if it's behind their head, people feel something. It's an energy that comes from brutal competence. That's what happens when a predator walks in the room. You pay attention next time in a restaurant. If a man who's truly dangerous walks in, nearly every other man kind of looks up at the same time. Feel it. You need to, or you don't survive. We've evolved with that to live. That's who I am. I couldn't imagine not being that man. I've done that because I've been trying to prove myself to my lineage my entire life. I wake up every day with something to prove. I have hundreds of millions of dollars. I wake up and think, fuck, more. I'm in fantastic shape, 4 times world champion. Fighting the Matrix out here by myself, more. I will have to be braver. I must try harder. All I do is prove myself. So when I hear people go, I don't have nothing to prove, then you're a fucking loser. Peasants have never felt like they needed to prove anything. But kings felt like they needed to go and conquer land. Isn't that coincidental that the king, who already had it all, felt like he needed to go to some far-flung land and conquer it and take it and prove he's the king? But the peasants, I don't prove nothing to nobody. You're a fucking loser, man. You're a dummy. I absolutely and utterly, completely have everything to prove to everybody all the time. That's who I am. I will prove anything to anybody. If I sit and say X, I will prove it to anyone. I can be checked at any time.
And their ancestors who fought fucking saber-toothed tigers, or escaped the Mongol hordes, or managed to dodge bombs in the Second World War. All the shit they went through just for this fucking cretin to be born. And to look at him. Look at who he is, listen to his life story, listen to what he does on a day-to-day basis. And they would feel nothing but fucking shit. Your ancestors did all that shit, all that struggling to survive, hunting and gathering, fucking avoiding enemies, anything it took, dying at age 30 from a tooth infection, all the crap they went through just for you to be born so you can smoke weed and jack off, that's what your ancestors died for? That's what they worked so hard for? That's who you are? That's the end of your fucking bloodline? Do you feel no shame? It's fucking shameful. My ancestors will look at me and think everything we went through was fucking worth it. Your ancestors will look at, most of these people, their ancestors look at them and feel nothing but fucking disgust. Well, I guarantee you they're fucking living relatives, they're living parents. What the fuck? Your own father's shit. And you don't even feel fucking motivated for that shit. It's a fucking shame. If you were to go and look at father in the eyes, you know what? I could have been fucking, I could have been a UFC champion. I could have been multi-millionaire, I could have been a race car driver, I could have been a fucking producer, physicist, could have done all these things, but I was busy on board. You think he's gonna be proud of you?
Fun plan.
Fuck no.
It's okay, bro.
Fuck no. And there's men here who will deny it, right? There's men who will go, no, 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 no. But those are the ones who are most lost.
You captured so
And they should look in the mirror, look deep in their own eyes and say, yes, I'm fucking disgusting, I can change this. That's the beauty about being a man. If you're disgusting, you can change it. That's the beauty. There's nothing stopping you changing it. You must accept it. You must accept it first. Most of these people, what they do is they hang out with disgusting people, and they're a little booty disgusting. Well, I'm not disgusting, everyone's disgusting, and this is normal. It's normal to be a fucking jerk off. Not in my world, anyway. It's not normal to be a fucking jerk off in my world.
Where was my revenge? In that entire
It's the denial that's going to hold you back the most. The people who go, yes, I'm wasting my potential. Those are the ones who have potential. The ones who stand up and go, I am wasting my potential. I could be anything, and I am not that yet. They have a chance. The men who go, oh no, actually, I'm fine. They're fucked. They're inside the matrix, fully slave-minded, they're a waste of time. But if you sit there and go, you know what, yeah, I am wasting my potential. Yes, I can be more than I am. Even if I'm already great, I can be better. As good as I am, I still push myself to the limit every single fucking day. I have every single thing a man could possibly want, and still pushing myself. This is your prerogative as a man. But you need to be instilled with a sense of duty. This is to your bloodline. You must want it. You need to want it deep inside your soul. I can't die as anything less than emperor. It's my destiny. There are duties. Whether it's God or God.
I didn't say depression isn't real. I said feeling depressed is real. But the idea that depression is going to strike you in your mind and there's nothing you can do about it isn't real. When you believe in something, you give it power. So I tried to say that when I felt at my lowest and I achieved the most I've ever achieved in my life, the reason I was capable of doing that is because I didn't believe in the paradigm of being a depressed person. I just believed that this is how I currently feel.
Why am I just, I hit imaginary wall.
I don't even give a shit about right and wrong. You can tell me depression's, you can get with every scientific proof in the world of depression, but I refuse to believe in things that take my power away from me. I'm only going to construct a mental model that allows me to be as powerful as possible. If believing in the idea of depression is going to take my own power away, then I won't believe in it. I don't want to believe in things that make me weak. So when people email me, they just say, I'm depressed. And what's funny is this. I talk to them, and they desperately defend the idea of depression. I'm like, my friend, you just told me you're too depressed to be successful, and depression has destroyed your life, and you lost your girl. I'm telling you, that enemy, the enemy in your life isn't real. And you're now sending me 10 emails a week trying to convince me that your enemy is a real thing. And they're defending it because it's a cure-all excuse. Depression or sadness is a cure-all excuse for men to use for failure. You get to roll out, be fat, be out of shape, be broke, be unimportant with no girlfriend. And instead of the world thinking you're a loser, you get to say, I'm not a loser, I'm depressed. It's a shield. And I say, that's why you don't want to lose your shield. Because now you have accountability, and now you have performance. It's callback. Fuck it all. I don't give a shit if it's real or not. We're not about that. We're talking about success here. Get rid of your excuses, stop defending the thing that's ruined your life, and get to fucking work. And every time anyone has ever listened to me in history, ever, every single one of them has transformed their lives and messaged me positive messages out. Every single fucking time. That's why I'm anti-depressant. Because that pill ain't gonna fix you the way becoming the man you wish you were is gonna fix you. Conquest is all life's ever been for them.
This is what men have an innate desire to have. Why did the Romans wake
And
up,
of course.
melt rocks, make swords, and walk in random directions?
And of
They didn't
course.
have Google Maps, they didn't have
I had a feeling that was about to happen.
random directions to find some other group of people and fuck them up and take their shit. Why? Conquest. This is a conquer. Why did Genghis Khan drag his ass from Mongolia all the way to fucking Vienna? A long way. Why? Conquer. Men are born with this innate desire to conquer. They're trying to suppress it. They're trying to distract it away from
I was trying to get revenge, but I get hit by my friend's teammate. Then I get hit by him.
No, you shouldn't. You should want to
That's always fun. I love getting hit by other people, other by people. I just love it, bro.
You need to find out a way to conquer Earth and conquer. It's the only thing that's going to make you happy is a man.
I just love
The only
it.
thing that's going to make you intrinsically happy is conquest. Nothing else. If you're the
Yeah,
best
they all
person
run
to
the help.
conquer,
They're in a
conquer
group.
something. Get up and do it. It doesn't have to be a negative at all. You can do it in a very, very positive way.
They're just loving yanking
I
on you.
understand very, very well. Every man does. Every man deals with heartbreak and deals with sadness. And how you use that energy is a differentiator between humans, right? You are feeling the same pain that many men have felt. I, as a man, every man out there has had his heart broken and understands how difficult it is as a man. But the difference between me and you, and perhaps the other men out there, is that certain men take that anguish and take that sadness and understand that energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be converted and use it to build themselves to a man who's standing and power. As opposed to sitting around and jerking off. I became me.
Am I surprised? Am I surprised at that?
Arduous, difficult, never-ending work. You are wasting your time. You are a waste. You are wasting your energy. Heartbreak is unlimited motivation. If I was heartbroken, it's been a very long time, but if I was heartbroken, I'd be in the gym every morning. I'd be a beast. I'd be running. I'd be working. I couldn't sleep. I'd be an absolute animal. And you're heartbroken. What do you do? You're like a fucking dumbass. Every single man out here, if you're upset that your girl's leaving you, God is reminding you that you aren't worth shit. So go and work your heart. On purpose. You that the way you live in your life and the man you are simply are not good enough. What have you changed since? Nothing. Fucking nothing. You think God's gonna forgive you for no reason? You think God's gonna go, it's fine. He hasn't learned his lesson. He hasn't changed. He isn't even trying very hard. He's not up early in the gym. He ain't doing nothing. It's fine. Let's just let him fall in love and let's make sure the girl doesn't fuck someone else on. No, sir! You're just gonna go endlessly. It's a cycle that will not fucking change until you take the message from God and become the man you're supposed to be. You need to get up and work so hard that even in the eyes of God, you're proud of you.
Enemy team is breaking.
We live in a comfortable world now where people think, oh, it doesn't matter. But you know what?
You
To
lost.
some degree, it does matter. It does matter, and I'll tell you who it matters to. It matters to your soul, and it matters to God. I stand in the mirror with a pure heart. I know I am the best version of me that could possibly ever exist. I know that God is proud of me. There's nothing that God hates more than sloth and laziness. If God were to create a man, and that man were to sit around and do fuck all, God
He's
will
about to get
frown
it.
upon you. It's why you're never lucky. If you're listening to this and you think I'm never lucky, I'll tell you why, because God dislikes fucking lazy. Start to work, start to show God the beauty of his own creations. You'd be amazed how lucky.
Enemy team is breaking.
God is unhappy. And inside their hearts, they're unhappy. We talk about depression, anxiety. That comes from self-loathing. You loathe your own weakness. You loathe your own laziness. This is what all of this is. I don't feel depression. How can I feel depression when I'm the most powerful version of me that I could ever fucking be? How can I feel depression when I can squeeze my own hand hard enough to break my own bones? How can I feel depression when I've smashed and destroyed 6 to 8 people's faces in front of me? Men who thought they could touch me in fair combat. How can I feel depressed? It's impossible.
How did we win that?
Victory.
How did we win? Somebody tell me. How did we win?
Now that I'm out of jail, am I happy I went to jail? I think I learned a lot in jail. I think I learned a lot. So if God is the best of planners, perhaps he put me in there to learn something. I have to believe this would make me a better person. Why else did I go? What did I go for? To waste 3 months? To stare at a wall for 3 months? Is that why I went to jail? No, I must have gone to jail to become a better person. I must have learned something.
I have to self-analyze and find them lessons and pick it out. And I think a lot of people don't do that with all the bad situations in their life, regardless of whether you went to jail,
It was just going
or
downhill,
left
bro.
you,
Like, I
or
don't.
business failed, whatever it is. You need to analyze the entire situation and say, okay, what can I learn? There's a big pile of shit here, but there must be a little bit of gold inside. It's all happened now, and I don't see the point in looking at it in a negative way. Could I have prevented it happening by being less fantastic? Well, perhaps. But Nelson Mandela went to jail, and Muhammad Ali went to jail, and Malcolm X went to jail, and MLK went to jail. And when you tell the truth about the world, you're going to do a bit in jail. It's kind of just part of it, I guess.
If you imagine something truly and fully, if you truly, completely imagine it, to a degree your body will react to it. Let me give you an example. If you truly imagine yourself at war, day after day, you imagine yourself under attack, defeating the Matrix agents, you're top G, you're walking through life, the agents are coming, you're doing Aikido, and you're destroying them, you're the most powerful man in the world. If you truly imagine that and felt it in your mind to the point where you felt you were there and you felt it in your body, I would guarantee you, after X amount of time, you would have a higher testosterone level and your muscles would be stronger than if you didn't. I will guarantee you that. Every night I dream of freedom, and then I open my eyes and I'm in the same familiar jail cell. I take a few minutes to swallow my disappointment and begin my morning push-ups. Maybe tomorrow I'll wake up somewhere else. I've not lost hope. This is important, especially if you're at home and you're not yet as successful as you want to be, if you don't have your life in exactly the place you want it, if you still feel trapped, whether it's financially or some other way. You wake up and you must be dreaming of freedom, but when your eyes open, after the disappointment, swallow the disappointment, take a minute and look around you and say, I deserve more than this. But then, what's the important?
I don't know.
You must begin to work instantly. I did not miss a single day of training in that jail cell. I didn't sit and say I'm too depressed, I'm too sad, it's too cold in this freezing cell, I didn't eat enough because it's Ramadan. No excuses. Every single day we train. We woke up disappointed, we swallowed the disappointment, and we go to training every single day. If we could train in a freezing cold jail cell in Romania, the cockroaches all around us, with no idea when we're going to be allowed freedom once again, you can train in a nice gym, air-conditioned gym in California. What is your excuse? Let's say I give you a menu of emotions and say, choose an emotion. You're not going to choose sad, who would, right? But choosing happy can be just as destructive also. Because if your only desire is to be happy regardless, no matter what it takes, that's when you're going to eat the cake. Because the cake will make you happy. That's when you're going to take the drug. Drugs will make you happy. Alcohol will make you happy. Hedonism makes you happy. Going to the club makes you happy. It's all dumb shit. If you were to choose proud, or if you were to choose courageous, if you were to choose a different emotion or a different feeling inside, you would have no interest in these things. So I don't wake up and think, how do I feel happy? I don't wake up and say, will this drug make me happy? I have no interest in being happy. I wake up and say, how can I be proud of myself? What can I achieve that makes me proud of myself? How can I do
revenge?
other people respect me?
Where's my revenge? They both
How do I have a
attacked
day
me.
with something big when I come home?
And I was this
The
close
women's
to
in my
the
house
revenge.
say, wow, there's no man like you. How do I live a life so my children look at me and go, Dad's a superhero? How do I make my mother call me and say, I couldn't possibly be more proud of her? I choose proud. I don't choose happy. So if you were saying this cup of juice will make you happy, I say I don't want it. For me, happiness is not a good indicator on how life should be lived. You shouldn't wake up and say, how happy am I today? How does that affect how I act? That's not how I operate. I wake up and say, what must be done? What will allow me to be proud of myself? What will allow me to achieve? And those things will be done regardless of how I feel. I'm a very content person. I live a fantastic life. I'm not miserable or depressed. I'm not sad ever. But I don't wake up and go, I want to be happy today. No, sir. I wake up and say, okay, things must be done. And those things will be completed regardless of how I feel. Regardless of how I feel. You can lock me in a dungeon for an unknown amount of time in Romania, and I will still complete as many push-ups as I can possibly do. In the dark by myself. What else am I going to do? Sit there and be sad? Happy or sad? The push-ups must be done. It's called duty, it's called honor, it's called pride. If you had these things, you'd never be done shit in the first place. I think that everybody should have a self-projection. You have to imagine how you see yourself. And if you see yourself as a superhero and an extremely disciplined and hardworking person who achieves everything he's ever wanted in life and does amazing things, you have to understand that you're not going to be able to do that on drugs. So you need to have a mental perfection in your mind of who you think you can be and who you want to be. And if that person's a drug addict, then go be a drug addict. But if that person is an extremely successful, extremely hardworking, extremely intelligent, extremely respected individual, he's probably not going to be doing drugs. A lot of this is about your self-image. I don't know how you took drugs without feeling deep shame. You should have drunk that cup and instantly felt terrible. Not because of what the
I wouldn't let me jump off.
Acting like. Where's your duty?
The
Where's
first
your shame?
time.
Where's your self-inflicting morality? Where's your pride? You just sat there and just took the drugs and didn't give a fuck. So that's the problem with all of this shit. It's the problem for all these addicts. If you want to wake up and say, what kind of man am I? Am I a drug addict? Then go be a drug addict. What kind of man am I? Am I a man who has control of his life, control of his mind? Then I'm not a drug addict. You have to make a decision. I just don't understand how I'm even took it in the first place. I can't fathom with all my massive computations in my mind, as smart as I am, I can't work out why you thought that was a smart thing to do, or why it was worth doing, or why you continue to do it. I don't understand.
Do what I did. Get in the cage. Get in the ring. Knock someone out. Get knocked out. Train hard. Fighting will teach you everything you need to know about life. You'll learn everything about who you truly are. You'll learn if you're a coward or not. You'll learn everything about perseverance and hard work and dedication. Everything about being underappreciated. You learn everything about fear. You learn all of it. You learn everything about people. You win a fight, check your phone. Lose a fight, check your phone. And there used to be for men like a rite of passage. In most societies, you had to go through something to become a man, from a boy to a man. But that thing was always difficult. It's always been difficult. Now you have to self-induce it, self-inflict it. But if you're going to be a boy and never bring on that self-inflicted rite of passage, how do you never become a man?
Of course, bro. Of course. He can parry everything.
A man has a duty to his last name. We carry the last name. We have a duty to our last name.
Of course he can parry everything.
I am my father's son. The reason my father's so discussed so heavily is my money.
No way in hell he should have done that. That's why. He was fucking guarding the other guy. He was locked on the other guy in that stupid ass mechanic where you can block everything.
And then I live forever. So I have a duty to take. I have a duty to
Oh.
take his name. I must perform. And even as a man today, you're waking up. You
Not even surprised.
You should have respect for your last name. You should say, is this who I am?
Can't get mad at this pussy ass.
You have no dignity? I have too much dignity for that shit. And a lot of these men have no dignity, no self-respect. And it's all an extension. It extends of why they're never going to be who they could be and also what they do to cope with that. Yeah, porn is a coping. If you have a porn addiction or you have a problem with porn, you have a problem with yourself. Because I guarantee if you're the kind of man you're supposed to be, you would have no time for that. And you wouldn't need it. I can confirm that's absolutely not the case. So the fact you even need porn shows there's a problem with you as a man. Because if you were the kind of man you could be, and I genuinely believe that any man can become anything, then you'd have unlimited sexual options and you would have no interest in that. I think that if you are black, white, Asian, I think if you stand up, self-respect, work hard, try your best, turn up on time, firm handshake, don't make excuses for anything, don't look for an easy way out, no matter what your skin color is, in America or England or any other Western nation, I think you can be extremely successful. I don't think anything's wrong. I was raised on welfare in Marsh Farm, which is the worst area, the worst town in the highest crime rate. I went to a school with a 4% pass rate, single mother household effectively. So I started at the absolute lowest echelon of life and would like to consider myself pretty somewhere near the top. I've been through absolutely every stage.
Of course, bro.
I say to men, you can become anything you want. And my answer to you is master of excellence. There's no other answer. I can't tell you how to rig the game and cheat the game. So that's why I preach master
Still
of
can't
excellence.
believe
For many of the world's problems today,
because of a war, bro.
sexual access, being respected by your peers, making sure that your wife's going to stay with you after the children are born for a very long time, being happy, anything. It all comes down to who you are as a man. The only answer is master. There's nothing you can do besides hard work, accept the trauma and pain and suffering, and work harder than everyone else around you worked. And that's why porn's a problem. So I would genuinely say to any man out there who finds himself loading up that website, go take a look in the mirror and realize why no one wants to fuck you. Work out why and do something about it. Absolutely not self-accountability. This is something that's also missing. I take accountability for everything in my life. Even going to jail, although it was unfair, although it was a matrix attack, although it was garbage, it was my fault. I sat there and go, what did I do wrong? How can I learn from this? Where is my part to play in this? What did I do? Because my actions are what I have the most control over. I have self-accountability for everything. If a woman doesn't want to sleep with me, I don't sit and say, women are this way, society's that way. I just sit and say, okay, why? What can I change? So any man who's floating on porn needs to go have a long conversation in the mirror and realize that he's not desirable, or as desirable as he should be, or could be.
Women are a fantastic side effect to unlimited success. It's very difficult to do everything right all the time in all realms and be extremely successful in all the realms a man should be successful and then still end up lonely. I think that's almost impossible, I would argue.
Yeah.
It's basically almost impossible. Like, I've tried very hard to aikido chicks away from me. It's not the opposite. And you also have to understand, man, I say this to people all the time, and people laugh when I say it. I say, if you're watching this podcast as a man, when this finishes, when you've done the push-ups Tate told you to do, go look in the mirror and ask yourself a very simple question. If I was a girl, would I sleep with me? And the answer is probably no. Whose fault is that? You, because she has all the choices in the world. She can choose anybody she wants. Why would she choose you? Are you really that funny and interesting and unique? Are your life stories really that cool? Tell me something you've done that no other man has ever done. Tell me something about you that's genuinely unique. And this is where a lot of my message gets confused, and especially MSM and everyone who attacks me and all this garbage. I've been told I talk quite pessimistically. But I try to explain to men, if you want to stand out, if you want to be different, if you want to be the kind of man who can talk about himself in a way and be discussed by females in a way that other men can't be discussed, you need to go through some bullshit. You're never going to become interesting and unique and the kind of man that can't be replicated through all the happy things in your life. You can't just go to the fucking circus and eat popcorn and come out and be a G. You're a G when you've suffered. That's the reality of it. Every single man you meet, who people respect, both men and women, usually has a story that makes you think, ooh, I wouldn't want to be that guy. Ouch, that would have hurt. That was difficult. And so when you tell me something like, oh, I lost 115 grand in crypto, I actually think that's a very soft story. Fine. But what do you at least work from that? Can you at least tell the story in a compendious and interesting way? Can you even sit down and tell somebody that story in a way which is engaging enough for them to listen to you? Did you at least have a joke out of it? Most men can't even tell a story in a funny way, bro. Something will happen to them, they can't even repeat it in a way they don't want to listen to. What was the point of losing your money if you can't even tell anybody around the fucking table some drinks and be fun about it? So what's the lessons here? You're boring, you can't talk, you're a dork. Those are the first 3 lessons you need to fix. Next is, why is that all the money you got? You're broke. How did it happen? You're stupid. You have a whole bunch of lessons you need to internalize, and that event could be the best event that ever happened to you to change you as a man and become the kind of person who doesn't give a shit behind you $15,000. So God gives you these chances to suffer so you can level up your character, but I'll often tell you, most of you people at home which are complaining that your life is difficult, I'll actually argue that most of your lives are too easy. Even though that God gives you these chances to level up and God gives you these difficulties, most of you, 99% of you, need to adopt more difficulty yourselves. I mean, you need to wake up and find more struggle yourself if you truly want to be a fierce competitor. You gotta find pain. And this is where, again, it goes back to leveling up your character and your network and who you are as a man. You had that money in the bank, your bills were obviously paid. Did you at least use that time to become fearsome? Did you at least use that time to become the kind of man who can wear a normal ass t-shirt but still look like Hercules? Because if you didn't, then you wasted the money anyway. That's the kind of thing you should have been doing at bare minimum standard. That's bare minimum. And men speak without speaking. I can meet somebody without saying a word, and within the first 3 seconds I know he's a bitch or not. Everybody knows this is how men operate. We instantly can analyze somebody and see if they have value or not. It's something that's almost instinctual that you can't explain. So the easiest way, I had a lot of people ask me, hey, how do I come across as high value? Be high value? How about that? That's the easiest way to do it. Why are you trying to fake? Why are you trying to lie? This is what's truly amazing about the masculine experience. I have so many people message me, and I get thousands of emails a day, and people are always looking for this hack or this cheat or this quick way to achieve something. You have to just become the man. There's no other way to really do a lot of things. But I guarantee if I were, your dad doesn't even know me, but I guarantee if I were to speak to him for 10 minutes, because of the way I would articulate myself, because of the way I would express my opinion, because of who I am, because of my physicality, because of the car I turn up in, he'd probably be more likely to listen to me than you, his own son. Why? That's your fault. And that's something you've decided to be. It's a decision you've decided to make. And this is what I don't understand. I truly don't understand how most men don't wake up and think, shit, I'm not good enough. And I think you need that degree of insecurity, I guess, and anxiety that's going to propel you towards the top, because there's always more work to do, and you're competing against people like us who are out here to destroy you, and that's the reality of the game. You have to take absolute and utter accountability in your life as a man. For everything. It's all your fault. There's nobody else's fault. It's your fault. And I was literally sitting in jail with a bullshit garbage case, which I know is all imaginary, saying this is my fault somehow. You have to find out, otherwise you don't get the lesson in it. The guy who had the 2.4 million gamble, or the guy who lost 115 grand, that's your fault. Good. What have you learned from it? Have you actually learned anything, or are you just sitting there going, I wish I had it back? Because if you didn't learn anything, you lost it all for nothing, right? Yep. And if you did genuinely learn something, then you're going to change your life for it. Because I don't think most people can learn anything unless it's painful. I've never seen people learn lessons the easy way. When someone learns a lesson the easy way, you know what they think? They think, I got away with it. Yep. Over and over again until it eventually burns and stings them. And that's the only time they learn. Humans only learn the hard way. So when you finally get a hard lesson, fantastic. However you lost that 115 grand, I guarantee it won't happen again unless you're a dummy. You need to pay attention to it. So you need to be happy that these lessons come. You just have to make sure you ingest them and you don't allow them to happen to you again.
Those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired.
I will say this, because I said in every single podcast. If they lock me up for some insane bullshit, I didn't do it.
The Matrix has attacked me.
If I carry on the trajectory I'm carrying on, they're going to put me in jail. Because I'm too influential. For the people watching at home, they just need to sit and understand that the system does not make rules for the good of you. It makes rules for the good of the people who make the rules. And a lot of the life paths laid out to the average man at home today is not for their own good. It's only going to lead them to depression and misery.
Do you think you're a force for good?
I absolutely not really know I'm a force for good because I'm a force for truth. And truth is a good thing. Without truth, we're going to end up in absolute tyranny and slavery, and we're already on our way there. I think there's a whole swath of the population, especially young men, that feel disenfranchised. I haven't put a magic spell on the world. The fact that people like what I say means that they agree with me deep inside. They may be afraid to say it themselves, but I am seen as a bastion of free speech and a bastion for masculinity as a whole, because a lot of men are largely forgotten about.
There's no evidence in my files that I've done something wrong. Everybody knows everything.
This is a huge injustice the way we see it. They should not be detained at this point. There are not even charges filed against them.
People are trying to set him up to look like he's something that he's not.
I mean the best of people. I want everyone to be successful. I want the world to be a better place. And I think the world's a better place based on the back of strong men who stand up for what they believe in. I think that's how the world's always been a better place. The Matrix programming says the opposite. They're telling us that to be a better place, all the men need to be weaklings and compassionate without any morals or without any hard lines or beliefs. And they must talk in a very, very soft way. And they need to be very, very compassionate, very, very tolerant and all these things. But if you look at history, the only times things were peaceful and nice is when strong men stood up with their swords and said, no, this is mine, this works this way, no one's going to come fuck with it. I think that masculinity and strength is what makes things beautiful. It's what preserves things. And it's what we need more of. That's what's missing from the world. Masculine men have a duty to provide and protect those they care about. We have a duty to do things we don't feel like doing because we know we're supposed to do them. And it's your duty as a man to stand up and say, I want to be as important and strong and good-hearted and God-fearing as possible, and I need to work hard to achieve those things. If you cannot control your own mind, then you are just a feather in the wind of life. Because your own mind is the only thing you can control. You can't control the weather. You can't control other people. You can't even control whether your heart stops beating. You might have a heart attack tomorrow. You can't control anything besides what you think. There's no such thing as too much masculinity if it's genuinely masculine. Genuine masculinity is not out here to hurt people. It's absolutely the opposite. It's out here to protect. And when bad things happen, they call traditionally masculine men. If you need a firefighter, you need a masculine man. When you call the police because the problem bad, you want masculine men. And as soon as a woman or a man is in trouble, when you look for backup, you look for masculine men. And masculine men have a duty to provide and protect those they care about. We have a duty to do things we don't feel like doing because we know we're supposed to do them. And that's why we stayed in the Titanic and died. And the dangerous thing about overly emotional men is that they're dangerous. They're genuinely dangerous. This is what's crazy. All these people talk about toxic masculinity and how bad it is for men to be traditionally masculine. A traditionally masculine man does things he doesn't feel like doing because it is his duty to do them. He charges into the verdict billing because it is his duty. Not because he feels like it, because it is his duty. We're now teaching the new generation of men that they don't have duty and they can just act on their feelings and act how they feel, and they don't have to act as a man should. Do you know what happens when you get men who just act how they feel?
You get school shooters, you get violence, you get rapists. Men who do not control their emotions are dangerous. If you find a man who is stoic, he's not going to hurt people. He's going to sit and think about his actions very carefully, and he's going to be a good man who protects for and provides for his family. You find a man who just acts out on impulse and does whatever he feels like, you're going to find a dangerous man. Sitting here telling men to cry more and act with their feelings, and it's okay to feel this way, that way, etc., and have no self-control. That is why we have the problems we have in the world. Absolutely utterly wrong. So when they talk about toxic masculinity, they have it completely inverse, on its head, completely and utterly wrong. We need to be teaching stoicism. We need to be teaching young men to understand that the world is very, very difficult. It's hard to be a man. You're going to feel bad sometimes. You need to suck it up and perform anyway. Not to sit there and cry your eyes out or blame other people. We live in a comfortable world now where people think, oh, it doesn't matter. But you know what? To some degree, it does matter. It does matter, and I'll tell you who it matters to. It matters to your soul, and it matters to God. I stand in the mirror with a pure heart. I know I am the best version of me that could possibly ever exist. I know that God is proud of me. There's nothing that God hates more than sloth and laziness. If God were to create a man, and that man were to sit around and do fuck all, God will frown upon you. It's why you're never lucky. If you're listening to this and you think I'm never lucky, I'll tell you why. Because God dislikes you because you're fucking lazy. Start to work. Start to show God the beauty of his own creations. You'll be amazed how lucky you'll become.
The game
God is
inspires them to do it.
And inside their hearts, they're unhappy. We talk about depression, anxiety. That comes from self-loathing. You loathe your own weakness. You loathe your own laziness. This is what all of these things are. I don't feel depression. How can I feel depression when I'm the most powerful version of me that I could ever fucking be? How can I feel depression when I can squeeze my own hand hard enough to break my own bones? How can I feel depression when I smashed and destroyed 68 people's faces in front of me? Men who thought they could test me in fair combat. How can I feel depressed? It's impossible. Do you understand?
You love me. Andrew Tate's one of the most wonderful human beings I've ever met in my life. I hate everything that's going on. Like, love him with all my heart. Yeah. Like, I'll die on that mountain with you, bro. Yeah. Let's get on that hill.
Too much stuff. I might play Yu-Gi-Oh! After
so to speak.
Stream's still gonna go on, but I'm gonna play
that's a threat.
Absolutely.
Finally, yep.
I feel like men nowadays need an Andrew Tate. He's a guy who's motivating men to be men.
If you cannot control your own mind, then you go through life with zero control, zero influence. You can't control anything. You're just a feather in the wind, waiting for life to blow you from happy place to sad place to happy place to sad place. Completely hoping on the gods to be fortunate to you, because if any genuine discomfort comes your way, you're fucked. Because everybody's fucking distracted. They're getting distracted by this, distracted by that, watching fucking Netflix, jerking off to Pornhub like fucking jackasses. It's so easy to win if you can control your own mind. But it seems nobody fucking can. And that's how the people who run the world keep the world running. Because they have all the slaves exactly where they need them to be. Permanently distracted and semi-depressed. Working their asses off. I can't imagine truly wanting to quit something and not being able to quit. I can't imagine. Like, when I talk to people who say, I want to quit smoking, I say, when? We all look soon. But that means you don't want to quit. You want to keep smoking for a while and quit later. I can't imagine a mind frame or a mindset where I want to do something and can't do it. Because if you have that kind of mind, if your mind is so fundamentally broken that you cannot do with your own mind what you want to do, you know, like that, then you're just fucked. If you cannot control your own mind, then you are just a feather in the wind of life. Because your own mind is the only thing you can control. You can't control weather. You can't control people. You can't even control whether your heart stops beating. You might have a heart attack tomorrow. You can't control anything besides what you think. If you cannot control your own mind, then you go through life with zero control. Zero influence. You can't control anything. You're just a feather in the wind, waiting for life to blow you from happy place to sad place to happy place to sad place. Completely hoping on the gods to be fortunate to you, because if any genuine discomfort comes your way, you're fucked. It is trained, like everything else. So if you find yourself not appreciating what you have until it's gone, then you must think through your brain. If you find yourself unable to focus and concentrate on tasks, you must think through your brain. If you find yourself unable to go and dedicate yourself to something you don't want to do, you must blink and cure your brain. Because all of our minds have been under constant assault for years. The way the mind functions, the way people interact, has changed so significantly in the last 10 years you wouldn't believe. Because everybody's fucking distracted by this, distracted by that, jerking off the corner, fucking jackasses. It's so easy to win if you control your own mind. Nobody fucking can.
Bro, I was holding them off for so long. Where was my team? Where was my team? Team, where were you?
There's no way to escape it.
Asleep on a chair.
This is why I preach so much about training, learning to fight, get in the gym, get bigger, get stronger. You will fix your mind if you fix your body. You should be as strong as you possibly can. We're now teaching the new generation of men that they don't have duty and they can just act on their feelings and act how they feel, and they don't have to act how a man should. You know what happens when you get men who just act how they feel? You get schooled through violence and rapists. Men who don't control their emotions are dangerous. If you find a man who's stoic, he's not going to hurt you. He's going to sit and think about his actions very carefully, and he's going to be a good man who protects and provides for his family. You find a man who just acts out on impulse and does whatever he feels like, you're going to find a dangerous man. Sitting here telling men to cry more and act with their feelings, and it's okay to feel this way, that way, etc., and have no self-control. That is why we have the problems we have in the world.
Hey, Andrew, so how do I get, like, a six-pack? What's the fastest way to get a six-pack?
Why does it have to be difficult? Why does it have to be easy? Why does life go easy? Why can't it be hard and difficult? Why can't you suffer? Because suffering is what gives it value. If everyone had a six-pack and it was quick and easy, then it wouldn't be valuable, would it? If everyone walked around with a quick six-pack and it was all easy, no one would give a shit. The whole point is that's difficult to get. Value is linked to difficulty. If you want something that's valuable, you need something which is difficult to obtain. The fact that you just said you wanted a quick and easy, your whole mental model is fucked. You shouldn't be thinking about quick and easy. You should be thinking about hard, suffering, pain, going through it. That's what you should be thinking about. This is going to be hard, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because when it's done, then everyone's going to know that I need something different. The bad things that happen are what you need to constant demand. This has happened to me.
Lost so much.
No, we need good. It's terrible. How else are you? How else are you going to find endless fire?
What the fuck?
How else are you ever? You're going to do all that with a nice, Christian life? If any man's honest with himself, think about the biggest transformative stages in your life. What are the times you got the most work done? It was a bad part of your life. You were heartbroken, or you lost a house, or broke, or whatever. That's when you did shit. When everything was fine, when the woman's still sucking dick, the mortgage is paid, dinner's on time, it's kind of doop-de-doop-de-doo, little by little, do a little bit of work, do a little bit of relax. But the big events come.
How does he have revenge still?
Cheat code to find him out. So when I get a message from the weather, my wife left me devastated. I didn't understand how hard it is to do. Your entire life.
He still had revenge the whole time. How did he have revenge the whole time? I'm about to go defeated because nobody wants to help me.
Over one thing you've done, after thousands of efforts showing how dedicated you are to her. And even now that you're prepared to die for her, she doesn't give a shit about you. I understand that. My answer is, look, still look. Take all that.
And of course, he gets revenge. Last minute revenge.
We live in a comfortable world now where people think, oh, it doesn't matter. But you know what? To some degree, it does matter. It does matter, and I'll tell you who it matters to. It matters to your soul, and it matters to God. I stand in the mirror with a pure heart. I know I am the best version of me that could possibly ever exist. I know that God is proud of me. There's nothing that God hates more than sloth and laziness. If God were to create a man, and that man were to sit around and do fuck all, God will frown upon you. It's why you're never lucky. If you're listening to this and you think I'm never lucky, I'll tell you what, God dislikes you. You're fucking lazy. Start to work, start to show God the beauty of his own creations. You'll be amazed how lucky. God is unhappy with these people. And inside their hearts, they're unhappy. We talk about depression, anxiety, all those things you mentioned earlier on this podcast. That comes from self-loathing. You loathe your own weakness. You loathe your own laziness. This is what all of these things are. I don't feel depression. How can I feel depression? How powerful version of me that I could ever fucking be. How can I feel depression when I can squeeze
Bro, this
my own hand
motherfucker
and
gets
I'm not
revenge
gonna break my
so
own bones?
fast,
How
bro.
can I feel depression when I
It's not even
smash and
fair
destroy
anymore,
68
bro.
people's faces
This
in front of me?
motherfucker got
Man, before I
revenge
can accept
so
their
fast.
comments. How can I feel depressed? It's impossible. Do you understand? Every fucking day, I don't feel like doing things I still do. It's called discipline. It's called being a man.
This motherfucker got revenge and kept
When you
it.
do things you feel like doing, you know what you end up doing? You end up sitting around with a belly, drinking soya fucking latte bullshit. That's what you end up doing if you only do what you feel like doing. You have to wake up and say, I don't feel like training,
Yep,
but
I'm
I
about
must
to go
train.
1 and
I will
6
stop
because
being
I
a
was
loser.
nothing but
I will
gang.
follow the word of Tate.
Drink.
You need to do what you're supposed to do, not what you feel like fucking doing. That's the difference between a man and a fucking child. You do not become a man doing what you feel like doing. You become a man doing what you're supposed to fucking do. The men of the Titanic didn't feel like dying that day. It's your duty. It is your duty to not be a fat piece of shit. But you fucked it up because of a lack of motivation. The world is hyper-competitive. If you're gonna
And
be a
of course
man
I
who's
fall off
sick,
so they can jump off.
you always
Of course I fall off so they can jump off.
And there has to be losers for their time. I am tired of sympathy. Sympathy doesn't work for anybody. I'm not going to sit here and be sympathetic to people who say they're too sad to try hard and be their best. Guess what? Perhaps I was sad every time I did exactly what I was supposed to do and trained anyway. Perhaps I was afraid when I fought anyway. Perhaps I was tired when I worked anyway. This is how you get ahead in life. I don't have a fucking ounce of sympathy for these people who sit here and say, well, I feel this way, so I can't. Then don't do it. Stay down there. The winners are at the top, and the winners at the top don't give a shit about how they feel. We wake up and we perform regardless of how we feel day after day. So if I can ignore my own feelings, I'm certainly not going to take into consideration anybody else. Why am I going to ignore how I feel and make sure I'm constantly performing regardless, flawlessly, and then sit and go, oh, but he doesn't feel good, so he's allowed to fuck up. No, you are not. You're not allowed to fuck up to your ancestors or to God or to yourself. You have to perform.
Your team rallied.
Baseline of masculinity as a whole is the thing that makes a good man is that he does what he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to work and he works anyway. He doesn't want to go to war and he fights anyway. He doesn't want to get up, he gets up anyway. That's the whole point of it. We didn't want to die in the Titanic. Guess what happened? We died in the Titanic. You can't sit there as a man and say you don't feel like it. You're not allowed to not feel like it. You're supposed to do it anyway, regardless. So when a man sits there and says, oh, you don't understand, I'm struggling with motivation. If you are struggling with the motivation to be a winner, then stay up.
Am I being scripted or something? Like,
don't care.
there's no way in hell
There's no
you can
losers
block
around me. Your
everything.
energy is disgusting. I find it revolting. I don't like weakness around me, even near me. Even people coming up saying hello to me. You're the press so you can shake my hand. I do not have time for losers on any regard. Winners only. I find it amazing there are people out here today who are going to sit and say, oh, I'm sad, I'm too depressed, I don't want to work hard. Do you understand
get
that
revenge
only
again,
200
bro.
years ago there were peasants out working a field, starving, surviving the Black Death, surviving the plague, struggling to exist just to reproduce so that 200 years later you can be the end of their bloodline. You just sit on your ass and do fucking nothing. Like, you're a fuck up. You're fucking up your entire bloodline of your entire ancestry.
That game
You
was a
owe
lot
these
from the
people
beginning.
things. You must. They went through hell.
And
for you to
nobody
exist.
comes to
You
help
have
me
debt,
at the
you have
beginning.
duty
That
to pay.
that
You have
game
to be the
was.
best possible version of yourself. And the
You
same
can't
to
get
God.
mad at it.
God loves
Game
people
was
who try.
fucked from the
God
beginning.
loves people who work hard. It's amazing if you try your very best all the time, what God will give you. And He'll give it to you. Anything you
Game
want.
fucked.
If you actually try. Not convincing yourself to try. Actually try. They're different things. I do not feel like training, but I still train. Because I'm a disciplined individual. You don't get to go through life only doing the things
I
you
went
feel
2
like
and
doing.
9
You don't get to
because
do that.
nobody wanted to help.
Beautiful women. Beautiful women get to do what they feel like doing. As a man, you have to do the things you're supposed to do. Because what we said earlier is absolutely true. It's player versus player. Now, if I wake up, I've already got this massive head start with me in life. I mean, every genetic gift, plus all my finances, plus my network. And I wake up and I decide, even though I don't feel like working,
Okay.
I'm going to work my ass
Here we go.
and you wake up way down there, and you can't be bothered to work. What chance do you have against men like us? You don't stand a chance. You can't get the girl. We'll take the girl off you. We'll bankrupt your ass. We'll kick you out your house. You name it. You don't stand a chance. Now, if you're going to wake up and look in the mirror and understand you're absolutely not crushable, if you're a rabbit and that lions exist, and that's not going to motivate you to do something about it, then you're a lost cause. And there's no point asking us a question. You know exactly what you need to do. If you want to stay killable, then stay killable.
Wait, was it
I
your
refuse
internet,
to
bro?
live that way. It's a disgrace to my bloodline. It's a disgrace to my parents who struggled to raise me for me to be anything other than the best version of myself. That's honor. I have honor to my last name and to my ancestry. It would be disgusting for them all to have fought saber-toothed tigers so I could wake my lazy ass up, jerk off all day, and ask on YouTube how I can stop being a fucking loser. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, 100%.
So this is down to you, my friend. And listen, you may feel fired up for 10 minutes after this little talk. You're not going to feel fired up forever. You need to put a system in place. Like Justin says, you need to get an atmosphere of people around you who are going to keep you accountable and not make it easy for you to continue to be a fucking nobody. And then you're going to fix your life. Otherwise, you're going to stay nobody. I am absolutely and utterly a believer in hard work. I'm a proponent of hard work. I have all this money and all I do is work. My entire life is work. This podcast is work. I'm getting in the car and went to another meeting, work. I'm gonna fuck a bitch, that's work. I'm gonna go to the gym so I'm in good shape, work. It's all work. My entire life is work. And people don't want to look at life that way. They want to talk about work-life balance and being lazy and all this crap. I don't believe in any of that. I believe in if you want to win, you have to outcompete the man who's prepared to do nothing but work. It's player versus player. If you're going to sit there and go, I don't want to work more than an hour a day, well, the guy who does want to work more than an hour a day is going to beat you. And no matter how smart you are, there's always a smart dude who's doing the same smart work you are for more hours than you're doing it. That's just the nature of the game. I believe there's only 3 reasons people are not rich. One of 3 reasons. They're either stupid, arrogant, or lazy. Stupid is actually the smallest category. People think, oh, you know, there's a lot of stupid people. I know a lot of stupid people with a lot of money, right? There's so much money. To be too stupid to generate money, I think is less than 5%. Genuinely too dumb to ever make a good thing. Then you have arrogant and lazy. These are the most common. Lazy because people just, oh, you know, but I need time to myself. Oh, you know, but it's the evening. Or, you know, it's hyper-competitive. There are people who do not need time to themselves. There are people, there's an Indian in Islam, or there's a guy
oh my fucking god, once again, where was my theme? I had...
Right? So, if you're going to be lazy in any regard, you have to understand there are people like me who are billionaires who work 15 hours a day. I finish this, I get into my car, I open my laptop, I'm working away from my when I go to sleep, I close my laptop and I'm sitting there. I work. That's all I do. So, lazy is a big problem because people go, oh, but I just want to relax. If you just want to relax, that's fine. But you're competing against people who just don't want to relax, and you're going to lose. And the last, and I say that's around, a lot of people have that element to them. A lot of people are lazy. That's about 50% of people. But the main reason people are not rich is because they're arrogant. 50% of people are brutally arrogant. And I'll give you an example. I have a school where I teach people how to make money. It's called the Real World. What's called Hustle University, it's now called the Real World. Go to Real World on AI, you can see it. I sit here as a billionaire, and I sit and say, I will teach you how to make money online. Anybody, 18 modern motivation, it's $49 a month. People sit there in their brutal arrogance. As a broke, with no money, I go, yeah, but can he really teach me? I have everything you've ever fucking dreamed of. I have all the money. You have nothing, and you're so arrogant that you believe you know more than me, or that you can do it without me, or I don't know how to teach you. The arrogance of people is truly mind-bending. If you know so much, why are you running? You obviously don't know. If I wanted to learn how to box, I wouldn't walk into a boxing gym, find a guy who can box, and go, yeah, you know, not bad. Can he really punch? Like, this is how people think when it comes to money. You guys are all successful enough. You can sit there and say, look, I do X, Y, Z. I have X, Y, Z. You don't have it. So, do you want to learn how to play piano from the piano teacher, or do you want to sit there as an arrogant brokey? Most people are brutally arrogant. And you can sit there and you can try and help them, and they're just so arrogant. They think, oh, I can do it myself, or I'll work it out myself. I don't need help. And it's arrogance, and it keeps them at the bottom. Everything great that's happened to me in my life, someone taught me. I had a kickboxing coach. My dad was my chess coach. You get taught things. To sit there and think you're too arrogant, you're too good to learn. Well, this is the problem. Most people are broke. Most people are broke because they're arrogant. This is the truth. There's nothing to do with how stupid they are. They're just arrogant. When I was broke, I couldn't. I don't know how there's broke people out here sleeping just fine at night. Going, oh, you know, inflation's 20%, gas prices are 6 times, everything on the news is a lie, I never stand a chance of ever getting rich, where's my pillow? Like, what's the fucking wrong with you people? I go to bed at night as a teenager and think, I looked it up on the internet. It was a Honda Civic Type R. I wanted one. I thought it was £8,000.
That was how much a Ferrari cost. 210,000 pounds. And I said, Tristan, my cousin brother, I was like, there are people with 210,000 pounds for a car. He was like, yes, so? I'm like, no, so. How? If I worked my job for 6 years and saved every penny, if I walked to work and didn't eat, I couldn't buy this car. How are people doing this? I couldn't sleep at night when I was sick. I knew that everything was a lie. I knew the Matrix was lying. I knew I had to find a way out.
His zone works for him, but his zone doesn't want to work for me.
And be some second-class citizen peasant. When there's people out here who do what the fuck they want.
That's the bullshit.
I couldn't tolerate it. I was so uncomfortable that it gave me the motivation I needed to escape. But the people who go, oh yeah, nice Ferrari, yeah. Back to the TV. Dummies. Losers. And the thing about the world is, we need losers. I'm not mad at losers. That's the reality.
Why can't I care?
This version of life. You decide you want to lose. That's fantastic. I need my car needs cleaning. My hotel room needs cleaning. I have a party with all the people with it. It's a mess. Please, go pick it up. Somebody needs to do that shit. I ain't gonna fucking do it. If I had to walk to a hotel room and clean them after some other man's party, I guarantee you I'd do whatever it fucking took to become rich so I didn't have to do that shit. You want to do that for 20 years? Thanks, friend. Someone's got to flip the fucking burgers. Someone has to make the fries. I want a Happy Meal now and again. But I don't feel sorry for you people because you fucking deserve it. Because it's a decision. You made it. You made that decision. If you're sitting at home and you say, I don't want to be a loser, you know what to do. I told you I was taking Matrix. Take the coffee. If you're sitting there going, nah, maybe this guy with hundreds of millions of dollars is trying to scam me out 25 pounds. All right, smart ass. Have fun at McDonald's. Get fucked. I have no sympathy. Zero.
My basic premise is that I refuse to believe in
Yeah, I'm going to give you that.
If you are in a haunted house and you believe in ghosts, you're scared of the haunted house. If you're in a haunted house and you don't believe in ghosts, you're just in a house. So I don't like the idea. Someone explains to me the idea of one day waking up and being miserable and not wanting to live anymore, and it's nothing to do with my circumstances, and I have no power over it, and no matter how good my life is, I'm still going to feel terrible and I'm going to die. That's not an idea I subscribe to. Feeling depressed is real. Depression as a disease, I do not subscribe to. The idea that I believe that if you feel depressed, something is depressing you. You should try to fix it. You should take control of your life and do your best effort. The idea, but they don't say that. They don't talk that. They say depression like it's this magic thing that comes out of the sky and it gets in your brain. You're sad no matter what. There's nothing you can do about it. You need to only take pills. And I think that's a very bad way to look at the world, and that's a bad idea to subscribe to. And if you start to feel depressed, let's say your girl leaves you and you start to feel depressed, but you believe in the idea of depression, you're now going to start diagnosing yourself as clinically depressed. Yeah. Self-hypnosing yourself into hypnotizing yourself to be clinically depressed.
Yeah, I'm done.
And it's amazing how you can speak things into existence. I cannot become depressed because I don't believe in it. That's just who I am as a person. I don't believe in it. I do not believe in things that take power away from me. So, and people sit there and they try very hard to convince me it's real, which is actually quite interesting because it's always usually depressed people who sit there and try very hard to defend this idea. If you're so scared, if depression's so terrible, why are you sticking up for it? Why are you fighting so hard to convince me it's such a powerful force? Why shouldn't you be doing the opposite? Shouldn't you be listening to me? Whose team are you on? Like, do you want to be depressed? Like, it's insanity, these people who are so desperate to push this idea. I think that you feel depressed sometimes because you're human. And also, let's look at it. Let's pretend I'm completely wrong, right? We can look at situational depression like you just described. We can talk about brain imbalance and chemical imbalance. We can talk about clinical depression that you get. It's chronic. There's nothing you do about it. Whatever. Let's pretend all these things are completely true. The best option, the best thing to do is still to get up, be an adult, control your emotions, be stoic, and do the things you're supposed to do day after day. Laying in bed and doing nothing is never going to be the best option. The best option is still to go to the gym, to work hard, to run your business, to be successful. So it doesn't matter. We're talking about the different positions on the chessboard. But if the rules of the game remain the same, regardless of the position you're still trying to win, you still have to do the same things. So does it even matter at this point? If you come along and say he's depressed because of X, and he's depressed because of Y, and he's depressed because of Z, and the answer to all of them is still the same thing, then I don't give a fuck why you're depressed. All I know, what I will say as a matter of fact, is this world is hyper-competitive, especially as a man. Most men are walking through life and they don't realize that it's constant competition. I was driving here, even as I was driving here, I was looking out the windows, and all these people just walking around. One of them had a fucking croissant. One of them was dressed like a dickhead because it's London. He's fucking looks cool. Just a fucking moron.
We've all seen them.
Yeah, moron. Some of the dudes just talking shit on the phone. Some of the guy with headphones in, waiting to be fucking murdered, wouldn't even hear it coming. And all these NPCs, I'm just looking at them going, do they realize they're in endless, constant competition? Every single pound they want, someone else wants. Every single girl they want, someone else wants. There are people like me out here. I will destroy, you could get all 30 of them in a room, and I will sit by myself and absolutely annihilate them in any single metric. And they're just sitting there just fucking floundering and wandering through life, unaware of how competitive the world is.
Well, and whinging how unfair it is.
And how unfair it is. And this is my point. If the world is truly that competitive, you do not have time to be depressed because it's a non-competitive mind state. You can be depressed for X, Y, Z, whatever. I'm not depressed. And I want the money you want, and I want the girl you want, and I want the status you want, and the car you want, and the house you want. And I'm going to get it, and you're fucking not. And that's the bottom line of life. What I'm saying is, you're playing a game, and it's a competitive game, and you need to build a mindset that allows you to be ultra competitive. If you want to sit there and say, no, I want a non-competitive mindset, then fine. You know what you call people who do not win competitions? Losers. Correct. It's just the bottom line of life, and it's kind of interesting because everyone pretends they give a fuck, but nobody does. Especially women. I don't get attacked for women, but women truly don't give a fuck. If you ask a woman the kind of man she wants, she will never say depressed or sad. Ever. She wants a man who's ultra capable, ultra competent. I literally had women say to me, you know I love being around you. Well, I don't have to think. I'm like, what do you mean? Because I just turn up and like, we just walk in the hotel and everyone, staff do anything we want and the jet's just on the runway and we just land and I'm in this beautiful place and I don't even know where I am and I get to just turn my brain off. And
that's kind of dumb.
Like, they want someone who is fun and spontaneous and charismatic and successful. They don't have time for sad dudes. They don't care. So, the world doesn't care. The world has never given a shit about sad men. So if you're going to sit there and self-diagnose yourself as a sad man, you're going to have a shit life and nobody's ever going to give a fuck and you're going to perpetually lose forever. And that's your decision. I am so scared of being that person. The idea of that terrifies me to the point where I don't even want to accept that as a reality that can possibly exist. I don't give a shit what happens to me in my life. I don't care how bad it is. I don't care if the worst, most heinous things I can possibly imagine happen to me. I know that my sadness, my depression will be temporary because I will never stay a loser. It is against my creed, it's not my DNA. With great power comes great responsibility. My content existed because I tried my very hardest to be an absolute and utter realist, especially with uncomfortable truths. I was pointing out that very uncomfortable truth. It's an uncomfortable truth in many parts of the world. It's not a truth that I'm happy about. I don't want to be seen as a negative influence in the world. I know that there's a whole bunch of men. I get thousands of emails a week from men whose lives I saved. I get thousands of emails a week from men who were on the verge of suicide and I've saved their lives. I believe in protecting and providing. I've been misunderstood. I don't want anybody to be offended by anything I say. I want to be a positive force in the world. I don't want anybody to hear what I say and make them feel bad about themselves. I want all people to live righteous and good, whether they're male or female. I think righteous is living true to your heart and knowing that you're doing good by people, not snaking anybody, not lying to anybody. I know I live a very righteous life. The government is not capable of helping the poor. And this is why it's so important as a person you take personal responsibility and understand you're living in a world where the matrix can be cracked. You can make a bunch of money, but you need to take responsibility and do it. I refuse to accept that there are people out there who cannot become happy, contented individuals. I refuse to accept we live in a world where God is creating people who, no matter how hard they work and how good their life becomes, can't be happy. I don't accept that. I accept that the universe is a very given place and that God loves all of us. And if you try your best and you work hard, you can become a better person. I'm telling the younger generation that if they don't get up and work hard and make sure that they're important, that the world's not going to give a about. 99% of my content was aimed at men telling them the truth, saying that as a man, you're born with no inherent value. You have to become important. You have to go through some pain or go through some suffering to make people care about you. Otherwise, you're not going to matter. As a dude, if you walk into the party and you put no effort into your life, nobody about you. And every man out here knows. And one of the great things about the masculine journey and masculinity is that we've all lived a semi-similar story. It's kind of cool. Like, we've all been the teenager, gets heartbroken. We've all been unimportant. We've all like worked hard and started to get some clout, and then we've all kind of lived the same kind of journey. So I say to everybody out there, yeah, if you don't follow that path and follow that journey, and in one way or another get to the top, whether it's fighting, whether it's comedy, whether it's musician, whatever it is, if you're just going to stay somewhere near the bottom, and then at the age of 44, email me saying I'm depressed, well, of course you're depressed.
Yeah.
But that was your choice, because you have to build yourself as a man, and if you decide not to build yourself, then your life's going to suck.
Oh my.
Our main message is to resist the slave mind, to understand that every single thing you're being told has an agenda behind it, or you would be told otherwise. To examine every strongly held belief you have and try and identify where it comes from and why you have it. I sit and argue with people, I discuss things with people, and they so fervently believe a point. And I say, why do you believe that so much? Like, do you have personal experience? No, but I saw the news. The news told you X, and now you are desperate. You will sit here for hours arguing that point. A lot of people are completely empty vessels ready to be programmed. And I try and tell people, listen, to just stop for a second and understand that the things they're telling you to believe are not necessarily for your benefit. The people who make the rules don't make the rules for the benefit of everybody. They make the rules for the benefit of the people who make the rules of the game. So telling people to resist the slave mind and just be critical thinkers, keep their brain open, pay attention to things, be perspicacious, that's the general theme. And it doesn't matter whether you're left, right, liberal, man, woman, etc. It's just think for yourself. That's the general message.
I believe men and women are a beautiful union. I think we're slightly different, but when we work together, we're the most powerful force in the world. And I certainly believe that men and women, when they work together, is the most beautiful force on the planet. So of course I believe in men and women. Of course I believe in love. Of course I believe in marriage. Of course I believe in family. I believe in marriage in the traditional sense. I believe a man has a duty to stand up and be a real man. I believe that the problem with the world today that we are facing is that not enough men are sticking to the age-old ways of masculinity. I believe that me standing up and saying a man must protect a woman and provide for her, so he needs to make sure that she's safe. He needs a degree of authority. And I believe women are sovereign individuals and they can make any choice they so desire. I think that it's important that we remember that a man has a duty. I think I, certainly in my relationship, have a financial responsibility to provide for my woman. My woman
That's so stupid how you can do
I'm the
that.
kind of person who works hard enough. And I'll make another point that needs to be said. The number of women who have stood up and stuck up for me is ignored. Thousands of women are making videos saying, I've met Andrew Tate, he's such a nice guy. I wish I had a man like Andrew Tate who felt responsible to protect and provide for me. You know what? I do belong to my husband, that's why I married him, and I love him. We ignore the thousands of women who stood up and stood by me and said everything I said is true. There's a large contingent of men who still want to make money, go to the gym, be strong, drive a fast car, be traditionally masculine, and don't want to be shamed for that. And I believe that feeling depressed is real. I don't believe depression as a clinical disease is real. I think PTSD is very real. Unfortunately, I have some friends who suffer from that. I know that feeling depressed is real. I believe that the number one power you have against these things are trying to take control of your own mind and affecting your own life. I believe that it's not healthy to hand over all your power and believe that depression is an outside disease that you can't affect. I know that when I've had difficult periods in my life, and also many of my friends, like I said, suffered from PTSD and been through terrible things, I've lived a very difficult life, and I know people who have.
You gotta be such
The things that made them feel better is when they woke up and said, you know what, I'm not going to allow this to damage me anymore. I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to get up and I'm going to fight this as hard as I can. If someone comes to me and says I'm clinically depressed or I feel very, very sad, I would say the first thing you need to do is stop accepting the identity of a clinically depressed person. Stop accepting you have no control over this. And what you need to do is stop identifying that way, and let's work together to try and fight against it. A lot of people who are clinically depressed are suffering with something in their life, and if you fix the problem in their life, perhaps they won't feel depressed. The thousands of people who have emailed me saying, my doctor told me I was clinically depressed, and it's a disease that I have got in my brain and I can't be fixed. And I started listening to you, and I realized that that's not the case, and I can fix my own life, and you're the only person who has ever helped me. I believe feeling depressed is real. I do not believe it's a disease that you catch from the sky and you cannot affect. I believe that no matter what happens, I believe you have control of your own mind and you can fight against it. I believe if you change your circumstances in your life, you may feel different. I'll give you a quick example. I had a guy who emailed me saying he was clinically depressed and he was going to kill himself. I obviously am not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor. I told him, because I replied to my emails. I said, have you been to a psychiatrist? He said, yes, I'm clinically depressed, I've been on these pills, this amount of time, I'm on antidepressants, it doesn't work. I said, I don't know what to say to you besides this. And he said he lost his girlfriend, that's why I became clinically depressed. I said, listen, go to the gym, get a six-pack first. Once you've got a six-pack, email me again. If you still feel like killing yourself, I don't know what else to say to you. I'd say, strong body is a strong mind, go train. He went, he started sending me progress pictures, emailing me him getting in better and better shape, and eventually got a six-pack. He's now a professional bodybuilder. And he said, I can't believe I was considering that. I feel so much better, etc. The doctor was telling him he was clinically depressed and couldn't cure it. He started taking control of his own life, and now he felt better. Then if somebody has depression of any kind, whether it's clinical, whether it exists or not, whether they feel depressed or not, whatever, that taking control of their life, taking personal responsibility, and working hard is always going to be the positive, best thing they can possibly do for their life going forward.
Of course, money can't buy happiness. I agree. But money is the third most important thing in the world. First is your First is your health, because you have nothing, you're going to die. Second is your relationships. You need love and family that matters the most. But money can buy everything, bro. You're just money is the third most important thing. The average people come to me and say, what do I do? I'm just the average guy. My only answer is stop being the average guy. It's my only answer. You can't just be the average guy anymore. The idea from the 1950s that you can just be the normal, average, law-abiding, hard-working citizen and you'll have a good life is gone. Any man out here who goes, I'm just going to work hard, do my bit, and obey the laws, and I'll have a good life. No, you won't. No, you will not. Just doing your job is never going to make you rich, because you're just going to be taxed into infinity and you're going to stay broke. So just obeying laws and doing your job now has set you up to be a peon and a slave for eternity. You have to get yourself in a position where you're making enough money. You don't know what to talk about, then you don't understand money. So go learn how money works. Go learn how a bank works. Go sit on YouTube for free. You don't have to pay 50 grand in 4 years for university. Go sit on YouTube and understand money, banking, or the real estate market, any of it. Understand the last housing price crash, why it happened, understand mortgage rates and how it's affected by interest rates. Understand it, and then go sit with someone else who understands it and talk about it. People should, even if they haven't got a penny in the world, should be going to these meetings about real estate, about investing, that especially if it's cheap, they should go. Just meet other people who at least have money. Have conversations about money. Talk about it. How are you going to get what you don't talk about? And yes, the cycle of precipitation, right? So a cloud comes, it rains, it falls down to the ground, it goes under the ground, whatever, goes to a stream, it moves into the stream, goes to the ocean, evaporates again up to a cloud, floats somewhere.